Chapter 1025 Divine Damnation Shenanigans. Chapter 1025 Divine Damnation Shenanigans. The fourth wave came and 9 bolts landed at the same time. Yi-Mo was shook. He released Zi-Su without hesitation. Even he wasn't able to deal with such a wave in such a short time. Crack, crack, crack. Yi-Mo hacked open 3 of them, and the remaining 2 landed on him. 3 more were stored in the storage formation, and he could only digest 1 bolt. Luckily, his power had increased after the shower of the first 3 waves. Otherwise, the damage would be quite serious. But just the 2 bolts still tore his flesh apart. He had a half-Dao artifact protecting him, so he wasn't heavily injured. With the 3-birth chant, Yi-Mo soon devoured the lightning in the storage formation and completely recovered from his injuries. Yi-Mo checked Zi-Su and found that it wasn't damaged. It seemed his kitchen knife was really substantial. The divine damnation was over. Yi-Mo took a deep breath. This divine damnation was strong, but it was reasonable. After the waves of lightning, Yi-Mo felt his power increase greatly. Yi-Mo thought, "Is this nascent soul state power?" Just then, Yi-Mo remembered his cracked golden core. He hadn't formed his nascent soul yet. What was going on? Did he fail? While Yi-Mo was still checking himself, the spirit chi around him rustled and flew towards him like an open dam. He didn't even need to devour it, and it just went into his body. Yi-Mo was shocked and quickly ran the 3-birth chant. Luckily, his 3-birth chant was powerful enough to handle all the spirit chi. Yi-Mo felt his power increase more rapidly. His meridians started to burst with pain again. His golden core was about to burst. Yi-Mo didn't expect to encounter such a terrifying situation. Before he could find a good solution to this, the sky rumbled once more. At the same time, more lightning crackled. Each bolt was the size of a baby's arm. Yi-Mo was dazed. There are so many bolts here. Did the heavens want to blast him to pieces? But they had already started falling, so Yi-Mo didn't have time to curse the heavens as he released Zi-Su again and charged it with cultivation essence like crazy. How could a golden core state cultivator have such a terrifying divine damnation? Yi-Mo roared, "Illusion, cloud exert will break! You want my life, but I won't give it." Countless purple sword rays flew out and clashed with the dense bolts of lightning. Even though Yi-Mo's power was already far stronger than before, the power of the lightning bolts was far from what his sword rays could block. 20 more lightning bolts fell, and 8 were directed into the storage formation. The rest all landed on Yi-Mo. Yi-Mo knew that his formation could store at most 8 bolts or it would explode. Crack, rumble. No matter how powerful his 3-birth chant was, he was almost torn to pieces by these lightning bolts. His half-Dao artifact blocked the first few waves without being damaged, but this time it completely shattered. Yi-Mo spat mouthfuls of blood and crawled out from a deep trench. This divine damnation almost took his life, but luckily he still managed to block it. However, he was heavily injured. He found that the bursting sense in his meridians was gone. His shattered golden core seemed to have devoured this energy and formed a new type of energy. At this moment, Yi-Mo realized that his divine damnation was different than that of others. The divine damnation seemed to have hatred towards him and wanted to kill him. Yi-Mo didn't even have the energy to curse. He had counted. That last wave had 36 bolts. In total, he had experienced 72 bolts of lightning. That was equivalent to 8 waves. 72? Yi-Mo was flabbergasted. He was definitely going through the 9-9 divine damnation, meaning that the last wave wasn't here yet. Fuck! Yi-Mo was grumpy, but he knew he had to digest all the lightning in the storage formation. Otherwise, the last wave wouldn't be any easier than the previous wave. The rumbling sound in the sky seemed to have disappeared, and the sky even looked clearer than before. However, Yi-Mo didn't feel easy like before. He knew that this divine damnation was sneaky, and if he rested up now, perhaps it would fall immediately. Yi-Mo quickly ate some recovery pills, and started digesting the 8 lightning bolts in the storage formation. Suddenly, Yemo felt his sea of consciousness brighten up, and his injuries seemed to recover faster. His meridians expanded, and his cultivation essence became even denser. Yemo was relieved. As long as his injuries were healed, he could take it even if the last wave was more powerful. At this moment, he saw a woman charge at him. "Move aside, it's my divine damnation." Yemo just said this before he realized he knew this woman. She was so familiar, it was Mu Xiaoyan. Yemo was shaken. "Xiaoyan, what are you doing here? Move aside." "Husband, I've been looking for you. I finally found you. I'm not leaving you again." Mu Xiaoyan cried as she charged over. Rumble, rumble, before Yemo could say anything more. The last wave fell. The first 2 bolts flew towards Mu Xiaoyan, clearly because she interfered with the divine damnation. Yemo didn't dare to let her get struck at all. This last wave was twice as thick as the previous wave. Mu Xiaoyan clearly only had foundation establishment state power. She would die for certain. Without hesitation, Yemo charged towards Mu Xiaoyan and released Zisu. 2 bolts were stopped by Zisu, and 1 landed on Yemo. Yemo didn't have the half-Dao artifact armor now, so even though there was the 3-birth chant to help him digest the power, he still spat blood. Before Yemo could worry about his injuries, he quickly asked, "Xiaoyan, are you okay?" But then, Yemo immediately felt something was wrong. How could there be such a coincidence? While he was doing his divine damnation, Xiaoyan charged over and into the lightning range. This place was deserted for thousands of miles. That wasn't Xiaoyan, it was the heart demon tribulation. Yemo realized this, and Mu Xiaoyan disappeared. 7 more bolts of lightning appeared. "Fuck!" Yemo cursed. He was tricked again. The divine damnation had lured him outside the lightning storage formation. Luckily, he reacted quickly and had realized what was going on. Before the 7 bolts fell, he had returned to his original position. Almost instantly, the 7 bolts fell down. In his fury, Yemo released Zisu and didn't use any illusion cloud moves, charging it with only his cultivation essence and hacking towards the sky. Crack, crack, Yemo found that when he didn't use illusion cloud, Zisu showed its strong ability to defend against divine damnation. 2 bolts were hacked open by Zisu and dissipated. Out of the remaining 5, 2 were directed into the formation. 1 was forcefully devoured with the 3-birth chant, and the last 2 struck Yemo again, sending him into the ground, heavily injuring him again. Yemo didn't have time to figure out why Zisu was stronger fighting the divine damnation without using illusion cloud, because he already noticed the huge change in his dantian. The shattered golden core had formed into a small nascent soul. That soul had exactly the same appearance as Yemo. It went into Yemo's dantian and also started using the 3-birth chant to devour spirit chi. The 3-birth chant ran even faster, and the spirit chi around him was swept away. A few more rumbles sounded in the sky as though in dissatisfaction. Yemo felt his injuries recover and get better. But suddenly the heavens changed again. Yemo thought, "I can't be this unlucky, right?" But this time, it wasn't the divine damnation. It was a large area of rainbow clouds that came out of the void and landed above Yemo's head. Such a familiar feeling. Yemo knew that when he formed his core, there were rainbow clouds in the sky, but this time the rainbow color was clearer. Chapter 1026. Annihilation, Divine Damnation. Chapter 1026. Annihilation, Divine Damnation, the colorful rainbow clouds, mixed with the spirit chi whirlpool and landed above Yemo and his nascent soul's heads. Yemo felt his injuries instantly disappear. At the same time, his power increased even more. He broke through nascent soul state level 1 the instant he formed his nascent soul. With his foundation, his power still didn't stop even after reaching nascent soul state level 2. Only after reaching the peak of nascent soul state, level 2, did it stop increasing. 2 hours later, Yi Mo finished digesting the bolts stored in the storage formation and got up joyfully. He had never heard of someone reaching nascent soul state level 2 as soon as they broke through to nascent soul state, but he was nascent soul state level 2 peak now, and his power was very stable. His foundations weren't lacking at all. The divine damnation was terrifying and almost took his life, but the benefits it brought were unexpected. Yi Mo viewed his nascent soul and rejoiced. His nascent soul state sat in his purple estate and ran the 3-birth chant. This meant that even when he wasn't cultivating, his power would be constantly growing. To become a nascent soul state cultivator, this was indeed a yardstick. Yi Mo sighed before he packed up his formation and took out a new set of clothes before leaving quickly. This place was deserted, but his nascent soul state divine damnation caused such a huge commotion that Yi Mo wasn't sure if it would go unnoticed. After flying out a few thousand kilometers, he found a lake to wash himself in and changed into a clean pair of clothes. He then cut off his burnt hair before completely relaxing. Less than half an hour after Yi Mo left, 2 cultivators came to where he had his divine damnation. Someone seemed to have had a divine damnation here. There's even a rainbow spirit cloud. Is it the genius of some sect? One asked. The other shook his head. If it was the genius sect member of a sect, the sect would never let him have his divine damnation here. It seems it's a talented solo cultivator. Pity, such a genius cultivator is a solo cultivator. If he was in some big sect, he would be able to reach body condensation state without trouble. Then, the 2 flew off on their spirit artifacts. A few millions kilometers from where Yi Mo had his divine damnation, 2 women were talking. Both looked like nuns. The younger nun wore a white dress, and the slightly older one wore a pale blue dress. But her extreme beauty was on par with that of the younger nun. The older nun had a look of shock on her face. Xiaoshuang, are you sure it's the Soar into Existence tablet? After a long while, the older nun gasped and asked in disbelief. Yes, master. I'm certain it's exactly as you told me. I suspect that Tian Alfing's death also has something to do with that Yi Mo. If it wasn't for Lightning Cloud sect sealing off South P City, I would have been long back, the younger nun replied respectfully. She was Ling Xiaoshuang, and the older nun was her master Shan Bingfeng. Hearing her disciple's words, Shan Bingfeng fell into silence, but her heart was undergoing a tidal wave of emotion. She wasn't sure if she was the only one who knew about Soar into Existence, but when this event really happened, she didn't know what to do. She knew that if Soar into Existence was really related to the Great Change, then that Yi Mo mustn't die, at least not now. Suddenly, Shan Bingfeng got up and stared dazedly into the sky. Her face was full of horror. What, master? Ling Xiaoshuang quickly held her master's hand and asked. Shan Bingfeng murmured, Annihilation, divine damnation. Such a divine damnation really exists. Ling Xiaoshuang looked at her master in confusion. Master, what is annihilation, divine damnation? Shan Bingfeng calmed down and looked at Ling Xiaoshuang suddenly. Is that Yi Mo golden core state peak stage power? Shan Bingfeng sunk into her seat helplessly and shook her head. Okay, we don't need to worry about that big change. The annihilation, divine damnation appeared at this time. It's that Soar into Existence cultivator for sure. Seeing Ling Xiaoshuang's confusion, Shan Bingfeng sighed. Ling Xiaoshuang, I was planning to go see that Yi Mo personally, but now there's no need. He's dead for sure. The legendary annihilation divine damnation is a divine damnation of certain death. I heard that it's not the first time it has appeared since the ancient times, but no one has been able to survive it. The annihilation divine damnation means a divine damnation of a higher level. If that cultivator was Yi Mo, although he was only breaking through to nascent soul state, the divine damnation the same as the nascent soul state to hollow spirit state, divine damnation. Countless cultivators die even under ordinary divine damnation, much less a divine damnation that's a level higher. Ling Xiaoshuang was also dazed. She didn't expect there to be divine damnation of this sort. Even a god wouldn't be able to pass that. Suddenly, Ling Xiaoshuang thought of a question and asked, "Master, what if that cultivator is extremely powerful? What if he can pass a divine damnation of a higher level?" Shan Bingfeng shook her head. "Xiaoshuang, you don't understand. The higher level doesn't simply mean for a higher level of cultivation. He didn't just take the divine damnation for an ordinary nascent soul state to hollow spirit state. He just took the divine damnation for his nascent soul state to hollow spirit state. The stronger he is in the future, the more powerful his annihilation divine damnation is now." Then doesn't that mean when he's breaking through to hollow spirit state, he would still go through annihilation divine damnation? He would be facing the divine damnation for hollow spirit state to body condensation state? Ling Xiaoshuang asked subconsciously. Shan Bingfeng shook her head and said, "He won't have a future. Annihilation divine damnation is a certain death divine damnation. There has never been a cultivator who was able to survive it. There wasn't one before, and I don't think there will ever be one. Even if he had an extreme grade Dao artifact or even immortal armor, he will still die for sure." Ling Xiaoshuang fell silent. She didn't know Yemo, but she felt pity that such a prodigy had died. Then she asked her master, "Master, how do you know about soar into existence? If even the trial tablet would protect the person, then why would there be annihilation divine damnation?" Shan Bingfeng got up and didn't answer. The annihilation divine damnation meant that the heaven Tao wanted to annihilate him. No matter how the trial tablet protected him, it was useless. Annihilation divine damnation? Annihilation divine damnation. There really is annihilation divine damnation. All the powerful beings of South Peace State looked at the place Yi Mo had his divine damnation. They were very shocked. There was actually annihilation divine damnation in the South Peace State? Who would be overpowered enough to bring out the annihilation divine damnation? Countless people looked at Yemo's place and thought he was dead for sure. They were still shocked that such an event occurred. Yemo had just organized himself when he felt a few cultivation essence waves fly past, all towards where he had his divine damnation. That wasn't good. His divine damnation caused too much commotion. Even in this distant place, those ancient beings were startled. He had to go. Yemo quickly got on his flying ship and chose a direction to fly. As he went, he thought about his divine damnation. He felt something wasn't right. It was just a golden core state breaking through to nascent soul state. So how could there be 9-9 divine damnation? 2 days later, Yemo stopped on a grassy plain. The spirit chi here wasn't abundant, but Yemo liked the view here. It was green everywhere, and there were some unknown flowers mixed within the field. The aroma blew into Yemo's nose and made him enjoy the sensation of nature. His mind has been very tense, as he always fought for survival and had little time to relax like this. Now he didn't even want to leave, as he completely relaxed his mind. Suddenly, there was the noise of rushing hooves. Chapter 1027 Chaotic City. Chapter 1027 Chaotic City. A horse charged over, and the person on it only seemed to just realize that Yemo was in front of him. He quickly pulled on the ropes. The horse kept charging, but the rider fell on the ground. The person seemed desperate to crawl up, but his leg seemed injured and he wasn't able to do so. Yemo studied this man. He was a young man in his 20s and seemed quite sturdy. However, he was covered in blood and there was an arrow lodged in his shoulder. He hadn't cultivated before. The youth struggled and couldn't get up. He quickly yelled at Yemo, "Big brother, please help me back onto the horse." But then he suddenly stopped and said, "There's no time, big brother. Hurry up and run. The people chasing me are here." Yemo already saw 5 people on horses chasing over with a spirit sense. One was holding a bow and arrow. Seeing that Yemo didn't even move, the youth saw the 5 people chasing over and sighed, "Too late!" The 5 people quickly arrived before Yemo and the youth. The bowman glared coldly at the youth and said, "You Wutsai, keep running. Why even bother talking to him? Kill him and take his head back. Kill the monk on the side as well." Yemo wanted to calm his mind and think about what to do next, but he was interrupted by these people, and they even wanted to kill him. Yemo didn't have the mood to bullshit with them. Before the 5 could attack, he waved a wind blade over. The 5 couldn't even react and were sliced in half. Before their blood could spill, Yemo's fireball had already flown over as well. In the blink of an eye, those 5 people had disappeared without a trace. If the 5 horses weren't still there, the youth would have thought his eyes were blurry. "You're an immortal master?" The youth finally reacted and asked with a stutter. Yemo ignored the youth. He saw with his spirit sense tens of kilometers away that a city was under fire. It was a chaotic scene. People were running and crying everywhere. The troops were slaughtering and raping in the city. Yemo shook his head. No matter where it was, such things were unavoidable. The city was beautiful and surrounded by lakes. If even such a place couldn't avoid this calamity, what about the Luoyu city he built? The youth was an ordinary person, but he had heard about immortal masters. Others said that their city had no resources, and thus there were no immortal masters. But now, during his escape, he actually met one. Just from the way this monk waved his hand and the 5 people disappeared. He knew this was no ordinary immortal master. Yemo didn't answer him, and he didn't even dare to breath loudly. Yemo took back his spirit sense and looked at the youth on the floor. He fed him a pill and said, "Eat this and pull the arrow out." Without hesitation, the youth ate it and instantly felt as if his body was in a cold shower, and the injuries disappeared rapidly. "Immortal pill." The youth called out in joy. He got up subconsciously, and he found that in such a short time, all his injuries had recovered. His broken leg didn't seem to have any problem at all. Seeing this result, the youth quickly pulled out the arrow on his shoulder and knelt down. "Thank you for saving my life, immortal master. Please take me in as your disciple." Yemo shook his head. He wasn't going to casually take someone in as his disciple. He was just passing by. "Your last name is also Yi? You escaped from the city, tens of kilometers away?" The youth saw Yemo shake his head and became worried. He knew that such fortune was found only once in a lifetime. The South Peace State was boundless, and there were a lot of immortal masters, but he was just an ordinary person. Where was he going to meet another one? "Yes, immortal master, I'm Yi Wutsai. The city ahead is called Dual River City. My ancestors have been living there for generations. My father is the city guard general. After my father died, I succeeded the position. However, the last city lord was killed for a crime, and the new city lord that the empire sent over is a tyrant." The youth said with fury. The new city lord forcefully selected beauties from the city and killed any who resisted. Eventually, this led to the fury of the people. The city lord doesn't reflect on his mistakes, but instead tries to purge those rebellions. I couldn't just watch it anymore and said something against him. So he wanted to kill me. I just led my troops to rebel, but I lost and was chased down. Those troops didn't just chase me, but also used this time to slaughter, plunder, and rape in the city. Yemo waved his hand. "I'll go see with you." Yemo knew there were too many injustice in the world, and he couldn't rectify all of them. But he saw this with his own eyes and couldn't help but feel angered. He was different from other cultivators. He had been living in an ordinary city and built his own city. He detested these troop disasters. Ordinary citizens had no way of resisting against it. Yi Wutsai immediately became excited upon hearing this. He didn't understand what Yemo thought, and thought Yemo was going to take him in as a disciple. He said excitedly, "Immortal Master Qianbei, Dual River City is a place abandoned by the immortals, but it's the most beautiful city. Because no immortal masters come, many people don't know the benefits of it. If immortal master Qianbei is willing to stay there, you'll love that place. Hearing this, Yi Mo was moved. The spirit qi was arid here, but it was no problem for him. He cultivated in the Golden Page world and had a spirit range there. He didn't need the outside spirit qi if he wanted to hide from the Lightning Cloud sect. Wasn't this place the best place? The only thing was that it was too distant. He wouldn't be able to get news as quickly. Okay, I'll go to Dual River City, Yi Mo said, and took Yi Wucai with him, bringing him to the city in just a moment. Yi Wucai looked at the chaotic city in a daze, but the voice that screamed in his heart wasn't that of the chaos here, but, I want to cultivate! Yi Mo frowned, seeing the plundering and slaughtering troops. He was furious. The women were stripped naked in the streets and raped. The shops on the streets were smashed up. If he didn't see the scene with his own eyes, he could have never thought there would be such a ruler. This city was his own, but he let his troops rape, plunder, and slaughter. The sounds of screams and fights were everywhere. Yi Mo didn't want to think any more at all, and threw out countless wind blades. Those troops that participated in these horrendous crimes were ripped to pieces. Instantly, all the troops in a few-kilometer radius were all cleared. Go, gather your people. I'll deal with the problem here, Yi Mo said to Yi Wucai. Yes, immortal master Qianbei. Yi Wucai was shaking with excitement and immediately turned to gather his troops. Yi Mo didn't hold back. He rained down wind blades from above the city, and the troops were all hacked in half. In a very short time, all the soldiers here knew that an immortal master had come, and this immortal master specifically killed off those monstrous troops. Countless looting soldiers began to worry. They had a lot of people, but they were just ordinary people. In the wake of the immortal master's magic, the only result was death. Flocks of troops fled outside the city, wanting to escape. But since Yi Mo had established his killing intent, there was no mercy. Yi Mo saw with his own eyes how evil these troops were. He had no reason to let them go. Soon the city quietened down. Yi Mo had killed all who needed to be killed. There was a rush of hooves, and a bulky-looking man with a beard rushed over at Yi Mo with his troops. He jumped off the horse and saluted with his fists. Immortal Master, why did you kill my troops? Our Han Liang Empire also has an immortal master. No wonder he wasn't scared. He also had an immortal master supporting him. Yi Mo said coldly, the troops who are slaughtering and plundering belong to you? This means you're no good person either. The bearded man immediately said, the city belongs to me now. What's wrong with my troops killing here? These evil citizens need to be slaughtered and terrified before we can build a new city. Chapter 1028 Birth of MOU City. Chapter 1028 Birth of MOU City. Yi Mo was shocked at hearing this logic. Seeing that Yi Mo was at a loss for words, the man yelled, You're an immortal master. Our empire also has an immortal master. These citizens do not follow our orders, so these insects need to be killed. I'm thinking of the long-term security of the city. The troops I've brought are the elite of the empire. The big bearded man didn't dare to say this was Yi Mo's fault directly, but he kept bringing up the immortal master of the Han Liang Empire. He meant that the lives of the citizens were nothing compared to those of his soldiers. Yi Mo couldn't speak with this person anymore. He nodded. You're right, your troops are indeed elite. The big bearded man saw Yi Mo ease up and knew that he was afraid of the Han Liang Empire immortal master. He said with more confidence, Our empire's immortal master. Before he could finish, Yi Mo sliced off his leg with a wind blade and said, Your elite troops still need your wise guidance. So I'll send you to them as well. Is that fine? You dare to hurt me. The man pointed at Yi Mo with shaky fingers. I'm part of the royal family of the Han Liang Empire. The empire's immortal master won't let you go. But soon he couldn't talk tough anymore. While he spoke, Yi slaughtered all the troops he brought. Okay, you can join them now. Then Yi threw out countless fireballs. The immortal master of the empire won't let you go. The big bearded man stayed tough until the end. He was engulfed by the fireball, but didn't beg for mercy at all. At this moment, Yi brought more than 10 soldiers who were covered in wounds. When he saw the big bearded man and his soldiers in the fire, he was dazed. He then stuttered, "Immortal Master Qianbei, you killed the new city, Lord Longmayan." Yi turned back and said calmly, "Yes, I killed him." Huh. Yi was shook, but he quickly reacted and said, "Immortal Master Qianbei, you should leave this place quickly. The Han Liang Empire has a very powerful immortal master. If they find out, that immortal master would come here for sure." "Why should I leave? I feel this is a good place," Yi said. He really had fallen in love with this place. The city was peaceful and beautiful if it was rebuilt. The emperor of the Han Liang Empire gave the city to Longmayan. If he dies, the empire would investigate, Yi said nervously. Yi smiled and looked at the distant mountains and the 2 crossing rivers, as well as the boundless plain, and suddenly said, "This city doesn't belong to Han Liang Empire anymore, belongs to me now." Then Yi turned to Yi and said, "Gather people and calm down the civilians here. Take out all the wealth from the palace and give it to those who are harmed. Then organize this city for me. You'll be vice city lord. Tell everyone here that I am the new city lord, Yi Yi was swayed by Yi calm tone and temperament. He stood up straight and answered, "Yes, City Lord Yi." "Ha! Immortal Master Qianbei, your last name is also Yi?" Yi nodded. Yi said with excitement, "I will help Immortal Master return the city to the beautiful state it was in before. Please don't worry." Yi cast a satisfied look at Yi and said, "Okay, you can come find me at the city, Lord Estate, after you're done. Remember, there will be no more Dual River City. This place will be called MOU City from now on." Yi had been looking for a place to build MOU City. When he came here, he fell in love with this location. The lack of spirit chi was no problem for him. This was the best place for MOU City. When his formation skills reached Formation Grandmaster, he would be able to include the countless grassy plains as well as the 2 intertwining rivers into the formation. MOU City, Yi murmured before saying, "Such a beautiful name. This place will be called MOU City. We belong to MOU City." "Yes, we belong to MOU City," the troops behind him exclaimed. There were few people here, but their voices were united and strong. Yi didn't disappoint Yi. A week later, the city had settled once again under his lead. Yi was quite happy with Yi capability. When Yi came to Yi, he had about 3,000 soldiers. Yi took out his plan and passed it to Yi MOU City will be organized like this. The design masters can change the minor details. No need to inform me about that. Yi made this plan based on Yi Xing's design. "Yes, City Lord Master." Yi took the plan and answered, "After you're done with these things, you'll be my disciple. No need to call me City Lord every time." Yi knelt down immediately and quickly called, "Master." Clearly he'd long been wanting to become Yi disciple. He would be an idiot to pass up this opportunity. Yi nodded. "Look at this design plan first. Tell me if there are any problems." Yi didn't understand it, but he saw the tidy streets, houses, parks, hospitals, and schools, and was perplexed. He didn't know what a lot of these things were, but they would cost a fortune. This entire city needed to be rebuilt. "Master, this. How much will it cost?" "There are a lot of gold coins in the storage, but after compensating the victims, it won't be enough. This is like planning and rebuilding the entire city." Yi stuttered. Yi smiled. "Yes, I intend to do just that. This is the place where we will be cultivating. As for gold, that's easy. Yi-Mo waved, and a large pile of gold bricks appeared. There were a few hundred tons. This was stolen from the U.S. Gold Depot, and now they finally came in use. This was only a portion of it. Wow, so many gold bricks. Yi Wu-Tsai had never seen so much gold in his life. Turn them into gold coins. This should be enough to fix up Mou City. When the city is rebuilt, I will set up a defense formation. Yi-Mo needed to build the city first before he would set up defense and spirit gathering formations. He wanted Mou City to become the most beautiful city in Luoyu continent, as well as the safest. Yi-Mo then gave Yi Wu-Tsai a jade card. I've set up a simple formation in this house. You can only come in with a jade card. I need to find a place to go into solitary cultivation. If there's an emergency, you can crush the jade card. Yes, master. I will build the city well for sure. Yi Wu-Tsai then thought for a while before asking, what if the immortal master from the Hanliang Empire comes? Yi-Mo now knew that this place was not an important place for the Hanliang Empire. Luoyu continent was too big. Yi-Mo was sure that the empire wouldn't offend a nascent soul state cultivator for a small city. If someone comes, hand this jade rune to him. If he doesn't want to settle, then crush the jade card. Yi-Mo took out a simple jade rune and inscribed his spirit sense on it. His spirit sense was nearly of nascent soul state, tertiary stage. Ordinary cultivators wouldn't disrespect him. Yi-Mo then left the city and went outside to find a place to enter the Golden Page world. Without power, he was nothing. After reaching nascent soul state, Yi-Mo's power had increased many folds. But Yi-Mo came here not for cultivation, but for the upgrade of the Mist Lotus Heart Fire. Old Man Kong, Yi gave him a fire Lotus Heart when he was in Golden Core state. He feared his power wasn't enough at the time, so he didn't dare to waste it. But now he had reached nascent soul state level 2, so it was time to upgrade his heaven fire. Chapter 1029 Hanliang Empire's Cultivator. Chapter 1029 Hanliang Empire's cultivator Yi-Mo took out the Mist Lotus Heart Fire and then the Fire Lotus Heart. What shook him was that before he even put the two together, the flame reached out and swept the flame Lotus Heart inside. Before Yi-Mo could react, the Mist Lotus Heart Fire on his hand suddenly became volatile. That terrifying heat made Silver run very far away. Shadowless noticed this even earlier and was long gone. Yi-Mo was worried and tried to suppress it, but found that the flame didn't really explode. The power of the flame was increasing rapidly. Luckily, he spirit controlled this flame. If he didn't, then even if he was nascent soul state power, he wouldn't be able to suppress the power. The heaven flame was really powerful. This heaven flame was only orange color. 2 hours later, Yi-Mo felt the searing heat gradually dissipate and that feeling of absolute control returned. Yi-Mo noticed that the Mist Lotus Heart Fire wasn't orange anymore, it was red. It had been upgraded indeed. Yi-Mo could feel the terrifying power of the Mist Lotus Heart Fire. Luckily it was his own, or he really wouldn't know how to defend against it in an attack. He put away the fire and started organizing Tian Alfing's storage ring. The bead containing the lightning source was very powerful and clean. It did indeed have the spirit sense mark of a powerful being. Yi-Mo chose to leave it on the side for the moment. Even though he was in the Golden Page world, he had to be careful. Other than this, Yi-Mo's greatest acquirement wasn't the 5 million top-grade spirit stones, but the great transmission rune and lightning-style attack ability. Yi-Mo lacked a lightning-style attack ability. Without this ability, he wouldn't be able to create his own using the 3-birth chant. Tian Alfing was a lightning spirit root and came from the 9-star Lightning Cloud sect. This lightning-style attack ability only had the cultivation method for hollow spirit state cultivators and below, but that was enough for Yi-Mo. This ability was called 11 Lightning Swords. Once perfected, one could use 11 lightning swords. These lightning swords got stronger the higher your power was. This cultivation method was very important for Yi-Mo. If he could use 11 lightning swords at the same time, it would be stronger than the divine damnation. At this moment, Yi-Mo realized why Ao Tianfeng could use so many lightning arcs. He was only golden core state power, so he wasn't able to use multiple lightning bolts himself, but he borrowed the power of the lightning bead to do it. However, although the blue lightning's attack power was a bit weak for Yi-Mo, other golden core state cultivators might not be able to survive it. Yi-Mo cultivated the lightning style ability very quickly. Other than this, he didn't use the extra time for cultivation. He instead used it to study the 5-element mobility, as well as Purple Eye Soul Sever and Illusion Cloud, 5th Strike. He was at the peak of nascent soul state level 2 and could reach level 3 at any time, but he wouldn't be able to reach nascent soul state middle stage in a short time. So instead of doing that, he might as well use the time to cultivate his battle techniques and escape means. The Illusion Cloud 5th Strike was completely different than the other 4 strikes, as the 5th Strike was derived from formations. Yi-Mo could use different attack formations to derive different Illusion Cloud formation kill strikes. So Illusion Cloud 5th Strike wasn't a set move. As for the Purple Eye Soul Sever, Yi-Mo was on the 2nd level and could partially sever people's spirit sense that they sent out and injure their soul. However, Yi-Mo felt something wasn't right. Theoretically, Purple Eye Soul Sever was just a spirit sense attack mean. It wasn't a cultivation method for improving spirit sense. The Purple Eye Soul Sever's power depended on the power of the spirit sense. As for a real spirit sense cultivation method, even though Yi-Mo had the 3-birth chant, he wasn't able to create one as he had never seen one before. Time flew by in cultivation. When he woke up from cultivation again, half a year had already passed. Yi-Mo was surprised he was only planning to cultivate for a month or 2 and then check on MOU City's progress. When he came out from the Golden Page world and scanned the city with his spirit sense, he saw MOU City busy under construction and breathed easy. Soon, he was overjoyed to find that the city was showing its general structure already. Everyone was busy building the new city. It seemed that Yi Wu-Tsai had used the gold very well. Yi-Mo's spirit sense scanned over Yi Wu-Tsai and found that he was greeting a guest in the city, Lord Estate. The guest was a nascent soul state primary stage cultivator. Clearly, this cultivator had come for him. There was impatience on his face. If he wasn't concerned about Yi-Mo, he would have long ago broken out in a fit of rage. Yi Wu-Tsai wiped the sweat from his forehead and said worriedly, "Immortal Master, my master is in solitary cultivation. If we call him like this, it will affect his cultivation." Yi Wu-Tsai didn't know what the consequences of the interruption would be, but his master already told him not to find him if there wasn't anything urgent. His master gave him so many gold coins to build the city. If he still went to disturb his master, wouldn't his master feel he was useless? The nascent soul state cultivator frowned and said, "I've waited for 3 days. Do you plan to keep me waiting? The Empire is busy. How can I stay for so long at such dual leaf city?" Before Yi Wu-Tsai could reply, Yi-Mo's voice sounded out, "There is no more dual leaf city. This is MOU City. Yi Wu-Tsai, do what you need to do. Leave me to deal with this." MOU City is developing well. You can increase the workers' wages to make them work faster. Master, you're here. Yi Wu-Tsai cried with joy and then immediately replied, "Yes, Master. I will build MOU City to be the most beautiful city." Then Yi Wu-Tsai quickly left. There was too much pressure facing a nascent soul state cultivator. Even though the cultivator didn't intentionally release his power, he felt he couldn't take it. When he came to the door, however, the pressure was gone. He knew that his master's pressure had overtaken that of the nascent soul state cultivator and felt even more assured. That nascent soul state got up immediately after feeling Yi-Mo's power. His spirit sense scanned onto Yemo and found that he couldn't sense Yemo's power at all. He immediately began to sweat. He felt lucky he didn't do anything bad, but was also shocked at the same time. This cultivator was so young and had such power. Clearly, he was at least nascent soul state middle stage. Knowing that Yemo's real power was nascent soul state tertiary stage, this nascent soul state primary stage quickly saluted with his fists. Han Liang Empires, Yu Shanping greets city, Lord Yi. Please forgive me for coming here to interrupt you. Yi Mo's solitary cultivation resulted in great progress in both the illusion cloud strike and purple eye soul sever. His power also increased from nascent soul state level 2 to level 3. When he saw that this person was only nascent soul state level 2, he raised his power to the max, crushing the cultivator from a psychological standpoint. Yi Mo sneered, acting as though he was bad-tempered, and said coldly, "Were you forcing my disciple just now? If my disciple didn't call me over, were you planning to do something?" "No, I wouldn't dare to." Yu Shanping quickly replied. Yi Mo sat down and said, "MOU City will be my city from now on. If the Empire is still confused about this, I will go to the capital to sort things out." Chapter 1030, 10 Secret Realms, Truthful Palace. Chapter 1030, 10 Secret Realms, Truthful Palace. Yu Shanping thought, no matter how strong you are, you're too young. You're at most nascent soul state, tertiary stage. How can an empire exist without power? Do you think I'm the only nascent soul state cultivator? Plus, which nascent soul state would have zero ambitions like you, robbing this barren land devoid of spirit chi? But Yu Shanping said nicely, "The Emperor knew that MOU City had a new owner and sent me over to see and develop future relations. From now on, MOU City, Lord will be City, Lord Yi. Besides that, I'm also here for another thing." Yi Mo heard this and knew that Yu Shanping wasn't planning to take back MOU City after seeing his power. He sighed. High power was indeed useful. He said he was going to take this city, and the immortal master of the empire agreed without even waiting for the consent of the emperor. This was the first time Yi Mo felt the benefits of high power. Yi Mo knew that the world's order was built on the foundation of power. If his power was weaker than them, MOU City would no longer belong to him the next moment. Although the cultivators were contemptuous of MOU City now, if he planted the spirit range under the city and set up a spirit gathering formation, then there would be plenty of cultivators who would fight over this place. Due to this, before he had enough power, Yi Mo could only set up a defense formation. Yi Mo didn't stay aggressive and asked, "What other business does Dao Friend have?" "I've just thought of this after seeing how young City Lord Yi is. Have you heard of the Truthful Palace?" Yu Shanping asked. He paused and answered for Yi Mo, "I believe you definitely know about Truthful Palace, being a nascent soul state cultivator." His last words were testing to see if Yi Mo was really a nascent soul state cultivator, but Yi Mo didn't show any expression. Yu Shanping could think whatever he liked. Yi Mo had heard of the Truthful Palace, of course, both in this life and his past life. Truthful Palace was a secret realm of the Luoyu continent that had a very high fatality rate. It opened every 30 years and had no power level limits. As long as you weren't older than 100 years, you could go in. Very few sects allowed disciples below Golden Core State to go. Most were Golden Core State, and a small portion were Nascent Soul State. Of course, there were a few prodigies who reached Hollow Spirit State in under 100 years. Such cultivators would enter the Truthful Palace for sure. Even at Hollow Spirit State, however, they might not be able to survive. Other than the fights between cultivators, there were dangerous areas that were lethal. But Yi Mo knew that people like him, who didn't have a sect to rely on, were unable to go, and no matter how much of a genius they were. This wasn't the desert or plain. The requirements to go in was to belong to at least a 5-star sect. Ordinary, people wouldn't even be able to go in. Yi Mo didn't say that, however. He wanted to see if Yu Shanping was trying to trick him. Yi Mo thought that no matter how powerful the empire was, they wouldn't be able to get a spot to go in the Truthful Palace. If they really could, then they were equivalent to 5-star sect. Yu Shanping saw that Yi Mo didn't speak, so he continued. The empire is not small, but it's only a 4-star empire. Before, a 4-star empire wouldn't have the right to go in, but last year we found a rare fire seed, Lonrock Fire. The empire reported this to the Green Pill sect. Lonrock Fire? The rank 7th Heaven Flame? Yi Mo asked in shock. That Green Pill sect also sounded familiar. Soon, Yi Mo remembered it was a 7-star sect. Qiu Shui from the South Peace State 10 Beauties came from there. Yu Shanping smiled. It seems City Lord Yi is very familiar with the rare flames. That's right, Lonrock Fire is ranked 7th amongst the Heaven Flames. It's renowned in the entire cultivation realm. The Green Pill sect was also very happy and decided to give 2 spots for the Truthful Palace to the Empire. If the Empire could get good results there, meaning people coming back safely, the sect will help the Empire cultivate a hollow spirit state cultivator, letting the Empire upgrade to a 5-star empire. Yi Mo was initially suspicious, but after hearing the words Lonrock Fire, he believed them. 2 spots for the Truthful Palace was nothing compared to this. Yu Shanping continued. The reason I brought this up was because I see City Lord Yi is so young. You're probably under 100 years, right? City Lord Yi is also nascent soul state cultivator, right? Then that means you're very suitable to go in. Yi Mo nodded. He wanted this spot badly, but he wasn't blinded by greed. Why would the Empire give it to him? He had killed a member of the royal family. City Lord Yi is really younger than 100 years? Yu Shanping suddenly got up seeing this. He was very excited. Big sects had nascent soul state and even hollow spirit state younger than 100 years old, but the Empire didn't have any. Recommending a nascent soul state into the Truthful Palace. If his recommendation survived, he would get very good benefits. Yi Mo laughed. He was far from 100 years old. But he didn't say that as it would catch the attention of the big sects for sure. City Lord Yi, if you're willing to represent the Empire to enter the Truthful Palace, then I will help you at all costs. And I believe that if the Emperor knows that you're willing to represent the Empire, he would be willing to give you more cities, Yu Shanping said in excitement. Yi Mo was speechless. Give him more cities? Did this guy think he wanted to be a local king? The power in the cultivation realm didn't depend on how many cities you had. Those 9-star sects all only took land within a 10,000-kilometer radius around their sect. Any empire would have much more land than that. But which country dared to fight with a 9-star sect? I'm willing to go. But why are you so fervent, Dao friend you? Yi Mo asked. Yu Shanping calmed down a little and said with some embarrassment, I've cultivated for a few centuries, and only then did I reach nascent soul state level 2. If I don't come across any fortunes, I will be stuck here forever. The Green Pill sect is a 7-star sect. They promised if one survives from the Truthful Palace, then they would help the Empire prepare 2 hollow spirit state cultivators. If 2 survive, then they would prepare 3 hollow spirit states for the sect. Pausing for a moment, Yu Shanping gave Yi Mo a top-grade attack spirit artifact and said, If City Lord can really come out from the Truthful Palace, you'll become an inner sect member of the Green Pill sect for sure. I just want you to recommend me so I can go in too. So this was it. Clearly, entry into a 7-star sect was irresistible for a nascent soul state cultivator like Yu Shanping. Yi Mo pushed the top-grade spirit artifact back and said, I have my own magic artifact. You can keep it, brother Yu. As for the spot, if I can go into the Truthful Palace, I won't take the hollow spirit state spot. It's all yours. Huh. Yu Shanping almost fainted from this huge fortune. If City Lord Yi came out from the Truthful Palace, then means he would get to decide who became hollow spirit state. Although he didn't know why City Lord Yi didn't want it, Yu Shanping didn't ask. Clearly, Yi Mo didn't want to go into the Green Pill sect, and so he didn't need to ask. City Lord Yi had such a powerful temperament. If he was a little careful inside, he would most likely make it out. Brother Yu, when does the Truthfall Palace open? When do I go? Yi Mo asked. It will open in half a year's time, but you need to come with me to the Empire's capital first, Yu Shanping happily replied. Chapter 1031. Here to assert dominance. Chapter 1031. Here to assert dominance. Brother Yu, I still have some things to deal with at MOU City. You can go back first. I will get to the capital within 2 months. Yi Mo didn't know how long it would take for him to get back from the Truthfall Palace. Yi Wucai was his disciple, and he hadn't taught him anything yet. This journey was going to be long, so he had to teach Yi Wucai cultivation and set up a formation at MOU City. Yu Shanping didn't say much and just left behind a contact bead. He went back to Zhuliang City first. He had to report Yi Mo's matters quickly. He had a good status in the capital, but there were 4 nascent soul state cultivators there. He needed someone to support him. If Yi Mo wanted to go to the Green Pill sect too, his proposal would have been a bit hard, but now Yi Mo said he didn't want to go. If Yi Mo succeeded, that meant the sect would take 2 disciples from the Empire. His suggestions would get support from another person. After Yu Shanping left, Yi Mo called Yi Wucai over. Yi Wucai was a 3-element mixed spirit root, but metal spirit root was the main spirit root. Yi Mo gave him a cultivation method derived from his 3-birth chant. Yi Mo called it 3-birth gunmetal chant. At the same time, Yi Mo made a 5-essence pill for Yi Wucai. This pill would make his spirit root more pure. Yi Wucai just received Yi Mo's tutelage and didn't want to waste any time at all. He focused on cultivation. He didn't need to be there personally for MOU City's construction. He would only go there during his spare time. Yi Mo started teaching Yi Wucai for a month while setting up the defense formation. Because Yi Mo had limited high-level materials and MOU City was too big, he could only barely set up a level 4 defense and level 3 attack formation. But the level 4 formation was enough to deal with golden core state cultivators, much less those mortal armies. A month later, Yi Wucai could cultivate by himself. Yi Mo left behind some cultivation notes and handed over all things in MOU City to Yi Wucai before heading to Zhuliang City. Zhuliang City was only 10,000 kilometers away, so Yi Mo arrived the same day he left. But this distance was huge for an emperor, and that's why MOU City wasn't taken seriously. But Yi Mo didn't know that MOU City being given out and the deal with him and Yu Shanping had nothing to do with the Empire. Just when he arrived at the city, Yu Shanping came out to greet him. Clearly, he cared more about Yi Mo going into the Truthfall Palace than even Yi Mo did. This time, Yi Mo didn't hide his power. When Yu Shanping saw Yi Mo's power, he was dazed, saying, "City Lord Yi, your stealth cultivation method is too good. I thought you were at least nascent soul state middle stage." Yi Mo smiled. "Is Brother Yu disappointed that my power level isn't high?" Yu Shanping quickly waved his hand. No, it's already beyond what I expected. To be honest, I thought you were nascent soul state middle stage or tertiary stage before, and I was really defeated. I'm still defeated now, but I feel better than before. Okay, City Lord Yi, I'll show you the rest of the Dao friends in the Empire, as well as the Emperor. The Emperor came to greet Yi Mo personally and held a welcome ceremony for him. At the ceremony, Yi Mo realized that he wasn't completely correct when he thought he could take the Empire on easily. There were 4 nascent soul state cultivators at the Empire, and no golden core state cultivators came to the ceremony. However, he knew that there was 1 golden core state tertiary stage cultivator going to the Truthfall Palace with him. Yu Shanping and 1 guy named Rong were nascent soul state primary stage, Another one was nascent soul state middle stage, and the last one was nascent soul state level 8. They clearly weren't afraid of Yi-Mo, but wanted Yi-Mo to represent them in the Truthful Palace. The nascent soul state level 8 cultivator was called Gulien, who was very hospitable to Yi-Mo and kept drinking to this nascent soul state level 3. That Qi Xifang nascent soul state middle stage cultivator and the Rome nascent soul state primary stage weren't very hospitable to Yi-Mo, but weren't overly cold either. From this, Yi-Mo could tell that the partner Yu Shanping got was Gulien. If he could get out from the Truthful Palace, then it would benefit him and Gulien. But this was reasonable. Gulien was the strongest, so of course Yu Shanping would get help from him. But Yi-Mo could also tell that although the emperor set up this ceremony and the nascent soul state cultivators were rather respectful to the emperor, it was just the superficial side of things. They decided many things on their own. Clearly, they were here for another reason. A lot of beautiful women wearing explosive clothing danced erotically. Yi-Mo sighed. Although the emperor only lived for a few decades, these few decades were much more enjoyable than the lives of most cultivators. A cultivator could live very long, but if he came out of solitary cultivation after a few centuries and died, he wouldn't have even lived as comfortably as the emperor. These were the pros and cons of life. The emperor was probably used to nascent soul state cultivators and so was just respectful to Yi-Mo, but didn't seem scared. Yi-Mo and the nascent soul state cultivators chatted for a moment, and the emperor took his eyes back from the erotic dance and smiled at Yi-Mo. City Lordy, Dual River City belongs to you now. I can give you a few more cities if you want. Now that you're representing our empire to go to the Truthful Palace, why not just join our immortal master yard? What do you think? City Lord Yi, I can take back the city when I give it to others, but I promise for you that I won't take it back. Yi-Mo's face sunk, and he instantly let out his power. A mere Qi gathering cultivator, so what if he was an emperor? How dare he say he gave him the Dual River City? There won't be a Dual River City from now on, only MOU City. You're the emperor of the empire? I ask you to remember that I took MOU City myself. It has nothing to do with anyone and nothing to do with the Hanliang Empire. Don't make things difficult for yourself. Yi-Mo got up suddenly. His cold voice and temperament charged out, infusing the entire hall with fierce killing intent. He had to assert his dominance. If he didn't clear up this matter and left MOU City, the emperor could say that the city belonged to him and it would cause a lot of disruptions. When he planted the spirit range into MOU City and cultivators desired the city, they would use this loophole to make the empire take the city back. Then he wouldn't stand ground on reason. Even though power ruled over all in this world, he had to stand ground on reason. The emperor was just a Qi gathering cultivator. How could he defend against Yi-Mo's power? He immediately spat out blood. Feeling Yi-Mo's power, even Gulien was shocked. This city lord Yi was so powerful. Even he might not be able to release such power. Was he really just a nascent soul state level 3 cultivator? Gulien didn't say anything. No matter what Yi-Mo did, he was benefiting from it. The reason they stayed at the empire was because the royal family had a nascent soul state cultivator too, but he was always in cultivation. The second reason was that they didn't need to go out to find cultivation resources. The empire provided it all for them. But he was a little annoyed at Yi-Mo and the emperor. The emperor was only a Qi gathering disciple. Why are you talking about giving in front of a nascent soul state cultivator? And that city lord Yi, you're already a nascent soul state, and you know he's just trying to satisfy his mouth. Can't you pretend he said nothing? Even if the emperor didn't mention it, Yi-Mo was going to bring it up. He could see that deep in his eyes, this emperor was no ordinary guy. Perhaps he was really planning to take back the city in the future. Gulien and Yu Shanping didn't speak up. That Rong Zheng, nascent soul state, level 1, was too weak and didn't speak either. But the nascent soul state, level 5 Qi, Xifang got up and stared coldly at Yi-Mo, city lord Yi. Are you here to assert your dominance? Chapter 1032 Prosperous City. Chapter 1032 Prosperous City. Yi-Mo sneered and raised his power even higher, but this time it was all directed towards Qi Zaifang. Qi Zaifang was nascent soul state level 5 power, but he was only an ordinary nascent soul state level 5. Even elite nascent soul state level 5 cultivators might not be able to stop this. Qi Zaifang was forced back by Yi-Mo's power and looked at Yi-Mo in horror. Even Gulian and the others were startled. Yi-Mo was only a mere nascent soul state level 3, but forced back Qi Zaifang with his temperament. Yi-Mo was definitely a genius. The emperor spat blood and sat on the ground with a pale face. He didn't dare to look at Yi-Mo again, but only he knew what he was thinking. Gulian felt good seeing that Qi Zaifang was scared. This Qi Zaifang came from the Qi family of the empire, and because he had a hollow spirit state family member, he wasn't very respectful to him. But Gulian knew that he mustn't let the two fight. He quickly got up and said, "Everyone, that was just a big misunderstanding. I think we just need to explain it. How about this? The emperor can announce to the empire that MOU City will have no connections with the Han Liang Empire anymore. MOU City just belongs to City Lord Yi. City Lord Yi doesn't need to fuss over such small matters either." Yi-Mo was waiting for this and took back his aura. He then glared coldly at the emperor. The emperor quickly got up and said, Okay, that's fine. I'll make this announcement immediately." Qi Zaifang didn't say anything. If he fought with Yi-Mo, he should win. But if he lost, then he would have no face to stay here anymore. He belonged to the Qi family, but the Qi family was only an ordinary cultivation family. They only had a hollow spirit state cultivator who was always in solitary cultivation. Seeing that the emperor agreed, Yi-Mo nodded. "In that case, I'll be leaving." Then he turned and left. Seeing Yi-Mo leave, Gulian and Yu Shanping quickly followed. Qi Zaifang felt ashamed and left as well. Rongzheng comforted the emperor and left. When everyone left, the emperor waved his hand in anger and shooed away the dancers. He then said with a green face, "A bunch of untamed wolves. I feed you, and you don't even do anything. You give up my city so easily. When my long family Qian Bei comes out, it will be the time for all of you to pay. Yi, you think you deserve the city? One day you will pay for your stupidity." Yi-Mo didn't go very far before Gulian called out from behind, "City Lord Yi, please wait a moment." Yi-Mo stopped. When the two got close to him, Yi-Mo saluted with his fists. "Brother Ge, Brother Yu, I apologize for losing control at the hall." Gulian was a little contemptuous. A nascent soul state cultivator wasn't able to control his own emotions. Who would believe that? But he still smiled and saluted with his fists. "City Lord, you probably heard from Dao Friend You about the Green Pill sect. I'll thank you first here." Yi-Mo nodded. "What are you talking about, Brother Ge? That's what you rightfully deserve." Yu Shanping intervened. "City Lord Yi, Dao Friend Ge and I are here today firstly to thank you, but also to tell you that there are less than 5 months until the Truthfall Palace opens. Before people go in, many cultivators gather at the Truthfall City. 90% of the nascent soul state geniuses go there. During this time, there will be all sorts of cultivators discussing Tao and battles between geniuses. There might be a lot of spirit herbs and materials that you won't usually see." Gu Lian nodded. "Dao Friend You and I both want to go see this event. We have no right to discuss the Tao with others, but it's beneficial for us to listen in. Plus, we can see the fights between the geniuses of the big sections. If City Lord Yi isn't busy, we can go there together." Yi-Mo was interested just from hearing about the countless items being sold there. He always needed cultivation resources. He had an abundance of spirit stones now. If he could get more cultivation resources in Truthfall City, why not go? So the three agreed to go there together. The Golden Core State cultivator came as well. The group was quite harmonious on the way. Yemo also learned a lot of things he didn't know from Gulian and Yu Shanping. He knew about the death of Tian Aofing, but on the Golden Core State trial tablet. Xiao Fei beat Fang Zhongshi for 3 days before he was beaten by Fang Zhongshi again. Other than that, Xiao Fei was put 1 spot down again by a woman. He became 13th, and that woman became 12th. Yemo wasn't planning to ask, but he heard that woman was from the Black Ice sect, so he asked about her. He found out that the woman was called Zhao Rong, a core disciple of the Black Ice sect. This wasn't the most exciting. The most exciting part was that 3 days later, another cultivator went on the trial tablet and kicked Fang Zhongshi down from 11th. Who is it? Yi Mo asked out of curiosity. 9-star Sect God Wind Valley's core disciple Emoji Tan. That guy is only 24 years old. Yu Shanping exclaimed. Even Yi Mo felt that Emoji Tan was overly powerful. He was only 24, but about to reach nascent soul state. Clearly, these people went to leave their names before breaking through to nascent soul state in preparation for the Truthfall Palace. He also knew that 2 more powerful women got onto the trial tablet. One was Infinity Sex Wind Sai. Another was Clear Dream Mosques Ling Xiaoshuang. When she first got on the tablet, she was 23rd, but 10 days later she had fallen to 33rd. From this, one could see how intense the competition was. When he arrived at Truthfall City, Yemo realized what busy really meant. This city was like a marketplace. There were too many people. There were even a lot of Golden Core State and Hollow Spirit State cultivators. Occasionally, one could even see 1 or 2 body condensation state cultivators. City Lord Yi, we've arranged our accommodations. The Green Pill sect has prepared us 4 rooms. They're in Siphon Hotel. Should we go there first? Yu Shanping asked. He paused before saying, Brother Ge and I will be going to the Dao discussion podium to hear the South Peace State geniuses discussing the Dao. Let's go together. Yi Mo immediately said, Brother Ge, you guys can go around first. I'll come back at night. Gu Lian nodded, and the 4 split up at the city. Yi Mo had little time. His 1 minute cultivating was almost equivalent to 2 minutes. He wasn't going to stay with Gu Lian and them, since he had to go to the marketplace to see if there were spirit herbs he needed. As for the Dao discussion scene, Yi Mo felt that collecting resources was more important. He could check it out later. He had a lot of spirit stones now. But to Yi Mo, it was important to change them into what he needed. He still needed a new set of armor after the last one broke in the divine damnation. Yi Mo came to the marketplace and saw countless stalls. This was true prosperity. He hoped that MOU City would have this sort of prosperity in the future. There were huge amounts of spirit herbs and materials, but few high-level ones. Yi Mo bought what he needed and what the city would need too. In a short time, Yi Mo had spent a few 100,000 top-grade spirit stones. He didn't find anything especially good, but he bought in large quantities. Yi Mo walked into a rather large forgery shop. He wanted to see if there were good armors here. There were a lot of people here, so he didn't get the service he had received at Yu Dao Magic Artifacts. Yi Mo didn't even go upstairs and was attracted by a material on the first floor. It wasn't a high-level material at most level 4. It was a pale blue string. Yi Mo immediately thought of the blue moon or in his storage ring. It would be perfect to use this to make a few necklaces for Luoying and the others. Give me this, I'll take it. Show me this. A voice said the same time as Yi Mo. Chapter 1033. Flirt with a Nun. Chapter 1033. Flirt with a Nun. Yi Mo pointed at the blue strand and spoke, but he heard a crisp female voice saying the same thing. Yi Mo turned around and saw a beautiful face. It was a nun dressed in white. Judging by where she pointed, he knew that she also wanted the strand. Yi Mo didn't have to have this string. Since she liked it too, he would go elsewhere. Before Yi Mo left, The nun suddenly looked at him and said, "I seem to know you. You've appeared somewhere before. I have a familiar feeling." Her words shook Yemo. He had never seen this nun before. How did she feel he was familiar? Yemo feared being recognized a lot right now. If he was recognized, it would be finished. Just when Yemo wanted to slip away, he heard a voice from the second floor say, "Xiao Shuang, hurry up." Xiao Shuang? Yemo also felt this name was familiar. He looked at this nun and saw that she was nascent soul state level 1. Clearly she just broke through to nascent soul state. Such a young nascent soul state level 1 cultivator? Yemo thought of the Ling Xiaoshuang from Clear Dream Mosque. This woman must be that Ling Xiaoshuang. Yemo's thoughts continued rapidly, and immediately he knew why she felt he was familiar. This woman must have gotten to the trial tablet right after him. Only then would she remember his chi and might even think that the person who went to the trial before her was him. Yemo knew he failed, but there were still a few people at the square that night. Although the Lightning Cloud sect wouldn't take notice of a failure like him, Yemo was sure that the reason he failed was not because of his power being insufficient. If this woman could feel the power he left behind, she might suspect him. 9-star sects like hers would have close connections. He couldn't let her be suspicious at all. Otherwise, if she told the Lightning Cloud sect, he was done for. Yemo's guess was right. The reason that Ling Xiaoshuang felt Yemo was familiar was because she felt a sliver of his power. But she couldn't think of why she felt this man was familiar. Yemo thought of this and immediately stared at her chest, then her face, and then her stomach. If she wasn't wearing Dao robes, his eyes would have rested on her legs. Ling Xiaoshuang saw that Yemo looked at her with such lecherous eyes and immediately threw that sense of familiarity away. She was about to burst into rage. But before she said anything, Yemo wiped the drool from his mouth and murmured, "Such a pretty nun!" Suddenly, it seemed he realized his mistake and smiled lecherously at Ling Xiaoshuang. "You're so pretty. Were you talking to me before? I'm Ning Xiaoma. Oh, you like this material. It's fine. I'll buy it for you." Then Yemo kept staring at her with perverse eyes and called, "Attendant, attendant, hurry up and come. I want to buy something." Ling Xiaoshuang's face was pale with fury. She glared at Yemo coldly and left. She immediately knew that her sense of familiarity was wrong. How could she be familiar with someone like that? Seeing that Ling Xiaoshuang turned around with speaking, Yemo quickly called out, "Girl, don't be in a rush to leave. We can go to the Dao discussion social together. Say one more word and I will dig your eyes out." Ling Xiaoshuang didn't want to talk, but the nun at the staircase wasn't easy to mess with. "Brother, you've got balls. Do you know who that nun was? Clear Dream Mosque's Ling Xiaoshuang. You dare to flirt with her? Watch out for your head." Another nascent soul state, primary stage cultivator walked up to Yemo and said, "Huh." Yemo wiped the sweat from his forehead in shock. His shock was fake, but the sweat was real. If Ling Xiaoshuang recognized he was Yemo, then he would really be in danger. After the attendant came, Yemo quickly took out the spirit stones and bought the strings before leaving. He didn't dare to go upstairs. It was best to not show up at this place. Seeing that Yemo ran away without daring to say anything, everyone laughed. Yemo just wanted to go back to where he was staying in case someone else saw him. Yemo just came to Siphon Hotel and saw Yu Shanping and Gulian walk out. Yu Shanping saw Yemo and immediately called out in joy, "City Lord Yi, Brother Go, and I will be going to the Dao discussion podium. Let's go together. I heard that Black Ice sect Zhao Rong is going there too." Yu Shanping seemed to know that Yemo was interested in this Zhao Rong and reminded him. He didn't expect to have really said the right thing. If Yu Shanping didn't bring up Zhao Rong, Yemo might really not go. But since Zhao Rong was going, Luoing might go as well. Thinking about this, Yemo immediately said, "Okay, I'll go have a look too." They just got near the Dao discussion stage and heard some ruckus. A nascent soul state, level 3, was hacked off the stage and fell into the crowd. He spat some blood and crawled up before running off. Yemo just noticed that there was a nascent soul state level 1 cultivator on the stage. Yet he could beat a nascent soul state level 3 to the point of spitting blood. Soon, Yemo realized he knew this person. When he was at the herb plane, the two fought over the purple flower fire. This guy was Infinity Sex Dongwea. He was Golden Core State peak stage at the time, but now he was a nascent soul state cultivator too. His cultivation essence was stable. This guy was Golden Core State Hall of Fame number 4 at the time. Yu Shanping introduced to Yi Mo. This is Dongwea, Infinity Sex Core Disciple, ranked 17th on the trial tablet. Dongwea. Young Master Dong is so powerful. Wea Qian Bei. Dongwea looked around and saluted with his fists. The Infinity Sex ideology is freedom of will. Although that friend is 2 levels higher than me, he didn't fight with a free will. Instead, he feared me, therefore he was kicked off the stage. We cultivators are pursuing the Tao, then why fear? The crowd erupted at these words. Yemo sneered. This was bullshit. Dong, he was only nascent soul state level 1, but his cultivation essence was more powerful than that nascent soul state level 3 cultivator. This was due to his talent and cultivation method. But since he won, he could say whatever he liked. Yemo scanned this place with a spirit sense and didn't find Luoing. As for Zhao Rong, he didn't even know who that was. Infinity Sect Dongwea is waiting here. Would any other friend like to give me a few pointers? Dongwea stood and said. This is too boring, Yemo murmured. Gulian laughed. Boring? If you knew what the prizes for the top 10 prize were, then you wouldn't think it's boring. Each time the Truthfall Palace opens, the city gives huge rewards to those cultivators who participate in the Tao discussion. The top 10 would get at least a low-grade Tao artifact. I heard that one time the first even got a hollow meridian pill. Who would reject such a prize? Yu Shanping nodded. Yes, even if you can't get into the top 10. Being on the stage is a symbol of power. Even if you don't get the reward, being able to discuss the Tao with those geniuses is very beneficial. Plus, the stage does not allow killing, so most cultivators are willing to try. However, Gulian said that first prize was given only once, so clearly the pill wasn't given every time. However, Yemo knew that he couldn't show off now, or he would be monitored. The Infinity Sect has made quite big news lately. The other day, the core disciple Yuan Guanan reached the Nascent Soul State trial tablet with Nascent Soul State, level 4 power. His name spread across the South P State. Now there's Dongwea and Winsai. Gulian let out a sigh. Chapter 1034. It's actually her. Chapter 1034. It's actually her. Yemo had heard of this Winsai many times. She was ranked as the first ranked beauty in South P State along with Susu. Yu Shanping said, I heard that this Dongwea likes Winsai, but she isn't interested in him at all. Wen Tsai only likes her martial brother, the number 1 genius of the Infinity Sect, Yuan Guanan. Yemo hadn't seen Wen Tsai before, but she definitely was an extreme beauty to be able to be ranked first with Susu. A beauty like her did match the number 1 genius of Infinity Sect. Yu Shanping smiled and said quietly, however, although that Yuan Guanan likes Wen Tsai, he likes Luo Susu even more. Luo Susu is also the number 1 beauty of the South P State. I heard that because of this, Winsai is going to challenge Luo Susu. Hearing this, Yemo's eyes turned cold. What sort of thing was Yuan Guanan? How dare he plan on chasing Susu? That Winsai clearly wasn't a good person either. Would Susu even bother talking to a trash like Yuan Guanan? What right did she have to challenge Susu? Yu Shanping didn't see Yemo's face change and kept talking. That Luo Susu is no simple woman. When Winsai said there could only be one number 1 beauty, She said contemptuously that she never cared about the South Peace State 10 beauties. Wen Tsai could take first if she wants. Wen Tsai just told her to stay away from Yuan Guannan. But Luo Susu replied in contempt that she had a husband and other than her husband. Even if Wen Tsai took all the men in the world, she wouldn't care. It could be said that in the first battle between the number 1 beauties, Wen Tsai was utterly defeated. Yi Mo heard this and knew that Yu Shanping was telling the truth. Susu indeed had this character. Knowing that Susu still thought about him, Yi Mo wanted to go to Black Ice Sect immediately, but he knew this was just a dream for him. He hoped that Susu would go to the Truthfall Palace. Heaven Star Sec's Yi Shuanghu went up. He's Golden Core State, Trial Tablet 16th. Only 1 rank difference with Dong Huia. This is interesting. Interesting. Yi Mo saw another nascent soul state, level 1 cultivator fly up the stage. Clearly, he had just reached nascent soul state not long ago. Everyone's attention was caught by the 2 geniuses. Dong Huia and Yi Xuanhu clearly knew each other and greeted each other before taking out their magic artifacts. Yi Mo knew Dong Huia's magic artifact, a stamp, but he didn't expect Yi Xuanghu's weapon to also be a stamp. The 2 stamps clashed together with immense force in the air. Cultivation essence rattled, and although there was a powerful restriction around the stage, it still shook. The 2 were really evenly matched. The body condensation state judge nodded. Clearly, he was very happy with the 2's power. Yi Mo could tell that the 2 were indeed very close, and it would take a long time to settle the score. He thought of when Dong Huia was Golden Core State Peak Stage. He was only Golden Core State Level 1. Now he was Nascent Soul State Level 1 at the same time as Dong Huia. He couldn't help to sigh about the wonders of life. Even though Yi Mo knew that he was able to progress faster than Dong Huia because he got the Heaven Glory pill and a Spirit Range and countless pills, Yi Mo still felt quite satisfied. To be able to surpass a genius disciple in such a short time was a satisfying thing. Plus, Dong Huia's resources were also quite good. A 9-star Sex Core disciple would definitely not lack resources. With Yi Mo's power, he was no longer interested in the fight between the 2, but he saw that Yu Shanping and Gulian were enjoying it quite a lot. Yi Mo moved his eyes away and saw a pretty back that followed a nascent soul state cultivator into a spirit rest tower outside the stage. T-towers were like bars and leisure centers on Earth. They provided a place for cultivators to rest, as well as all sorts of spirit wine and tea. The figure was definitely someone he knew. He couldn't even tell Yu Shanping and Gulian, and quickly went into that spirit rest tower. Ling Xiaoshuang and her martial sister had walked around the market for half a day and just walked into the spirit rest tower. She saw Yi Mo follow in as well, and immediately her eyes flashed with a sliver of disgust. She said coldly, "This Ning Xiaoma is really shameless." "Xiaoshuang, who are you calling shameless?" The nun next to her heard this and asked. But before Ling Xiaoshuang could reply, she also saw Yi Mo walk in here, seemingly desperate. "That guy is shameless indeed. He actually followed us here," the nun next to Ling Xiaoshuang said in contempt. Yi Mo didn't see Ling Xiaoshuang, but even if he had, he would have to make sure if her figure was the figure he had seen. At this moment, the pretty figure turned back and saw the desperate Yi Mo, but she didn't mind. Is it really her? Yi Mo's head buzzed. He didn't think he would meet Dongfang Nana here. He destroyed her Dan Tian and was about to kill her, but because Yi Zifeng was so crazy about her, he let her go. Then the 2 left Luoying, and Yi Mo didn't know where they went. Many years later, he saw her in a city in South Peace State without Yi Zifeng. Dongfang Nana was already Golden Core State, level 1 power, and her Dan Tian somehow recovered. Her cultivation talent was also really good. Yi Mo was desperate. Without hesitation, he rushed up to her and grabbed her shoulder. "I have some business with you. Come with me." "Shameless thing." Ling Xiaoshuang saw this scene and couldn't take it anymore. She released her flying sword and was about to kill Yi Mo. She realized now that Yi Mo didn't come in here for her. He probably knew that she wasn't easy to mess with, so now he was harassing another girl. She had to kill such a person. Although it was quite some trouble to kill in this city, she knew it was fine for her. No one would offend her sect for an irrelevant cultivator. But before Ling Xiaoshuang made a move, the nascent soul state cultivator next to the girl already attacked Yemo. He released a foldable fan, and the fan covered Yemo with a bleak chi. Yemo used his cultivation essence to dissipate the bleak, killing intent. At this moment, Dongfang Nana just came to her senses and hurriedly ran behind the nascent soul state cultivator. She looked at Yi Mo with horror. She didn't know why Yi Mo suddenly attacked her. She had never seen this person before. How dare you act up in front of me, Wu Yu, seeing that you blocked my casual attack. Break your arm, you used to grab her, and piss off. The nascent soul state cultivator glared coldly at Yi Mo. Ha! He's the 7-star sect eternity, sees genius, Wu Yu. You mean the guy who's nascent soul state level 7 when he's not even 100 years old, ranked 267 on the nascent soul state trial tablet? Of course it's him. The cultivator who offended him is gone for sure, but young Master Wu doesn't seem to want to kill. Yi Mo glared coldly at Wu Yu. Dongfang Nana was in front of him. He had to take her away no matter what and ask where Yi Zifeng was. Feeling Yi Mo suddenly increasing his power, Wu Yu was dazed. A mere nascent soul state level 3 dared to do this in front of him. Did he think he was Yuan Guannan? Wu Yu just wanted to speak up when Dongfang Nana suddenly pulled him and said, "Big brother Wu, never mind, let's go in." She saw the familiar anger in Yi Mo's eyes and began to worry. Why go? I must take his arm. This trash should be thankful I'm not killing him, Wu Yu said. Yi Mo calmed down. He knew that if he used all his means, he would be able to beat Wu Yu. But this was Truth Fall City. He wouldn't be able to kill Wu Yu without people noticing him. He was too impulsive just now. Chapter 1035, Number 1 King of Nascent Soul State. Chapter 1035, Number 1 King of Nascent Soul State. Thinking about this, Yi Mo sneered and turned to leave, ignoring Wu Yu. He knew that it was impossible to take away Dongfang Nana here, but he already knew she was at the 7-star Eternity Sea sect. That was enough. You want to go? Leave an arm behind, Wu Yu said coldly. His fan opened and swept about, directing a few sharp, bleak rays at Yi Mo's arm. He didn't just want to slice off Yi Mo's arm. He wanted to pulverize it. Yi Mo immediately felt a powerful cultivation essence wall seal him off. Wu, you made it look easy, but Yi Mo knew it was just that he didn't want to cause a big commotion here. Even an ordinary nascent soul state level 3 wouldn't be able to stop this. If he was going to counterattack, it would cause a big commotion. But there was no way Yi Mo wanted to lose an arm. Without a thought, he released Zisu. But before he moved, a white sword ray slipped past Yi Mo and Wu Yu. That sword ray was like the scorching sun and easily dissipated the bleak sharp ray from Wu Yu. Even the cultivation essence, wall blocking Yi Mo, disappeared. Yi Mo immediately knew that someone helped him. His spirit sense scanned that the white ray turned into a flying sword and landed on a man's back upstairs. It was already strange that a flying sword had a sheath, but even more strangely, the man carried the sheath on his back. Wu Yu didn't expect that someone dared to intervene after he reported his sect, but he immediately recognized who the person who stopped him was. He said, "Su Changji, what is the meaning of this? What does this have to do with you? You want to go against me for a solo cultivator?" That cultivator said lazily, "I like to mind other people's business. If you don't like it, we can sort it out on the Dao discussion stage." Wu, you clearly knew that he was no match for this man. His face sunk, and he said to Dongfang Nana, "Let's go." He didn't even go up to the spirit rest tower. Dongfang Nana glanced at Yi Mo fearfully and followed closely. Wu Yu walked to the door and suddenly turned to Yi Mo. You better hope you're this lucky in the future as well. Don't let me see you again, or it won't just be one arm. Yi Mo said expressionlessly, This is what I want to say to you also. I hope you don't meet me again next time. Wu Yu's eyes flashed with contempt, and he just walked out. After Wu Yu left, the cultivators in the tower laughed out loud. Yi Mo knew why they laughed. It was because his magic artifact looked like an ugly kitchen knife. Yi Mo put away Zisu like nothing happened and saluted with his fists to that cultivator. Thanks for helping, friend. He felt this Su Changji was a familiar name, but he couldn't remember from where. This man only looked middle-aged, probably no older than 300 years. His power wasn't absurd, though, only nascent soul state peak stage. Why was that Wu Yu so scared of him? Su Changji laughed and waved to Yi Mo. Brother, why don't you come up for a talk? Okay. Yi Mo didn't know why Su Changji wanted to talk to him, but he felt Su Changji had no nefarious intentions. So he went up. Ling Xiaoshuang glared at Yi Mo and said coldly, This lecher has some luck. If it wasn't for Su Changji, he wouldn't be able to get away today. This Su Changji rose to fame in a short time, but I heard he's quite a person. Why would he click with someone like Ning Xiaoma? Yi Mo saw that when Su Changji stopped Wu Yu, no one dared to discuss the matter anymore, as though they feared him. What shook him even more was that he heard Su Changji was a solo cultivator. Su Changji clearly had a top-grade room in this tower, as he could see the Dao discussion stage outside. Brother Su, thank you. Yi Mo thanked Su Changji again. Su Changji waved his hand and poured a cup of spirit tea for Yi Mo before saying, You're Yi Mo, you came from the North Far State, right? Pei High Cities, MOU also belongs to you. Yi Mo got up abruptly and looked at Su Changji in shock. He had never seen this person before. How did he know so much about him? Su Changji smiled and waved his hand to Yi Mo. No need to worry. If I'm not wrong, you probably took care of that Tian Aofing. You only dared to do that because you didn't know who he was. Yi Mo felt his head buzzing. If this matter was leaked, he would have to flee to the ends of the world. How did he know? Wait, he was just guessing. He wasn't too sure that Tian Aofing was killed by him. He knew so much about him so clearly. He came from North Far State, but one had to be Hollow Spirit State to come from North Far State. How did he come then? Did he get referred by a disaster transformation state as well? Yi Mo suddenly remembered the name Su Changji and blurted out, I remember you. You're the number one of the 50 nascent soul state kings in North Far State, right? North Far State didn't have a nascent soul state hall of fame, but there were 50 kings. Yi Mo heard the number one master was Su Changji. Su Changji smiled and nodded. That's right, I'm that Su Changji. I only needed to see your unique purple kitchen knife before recognizing that you were that Yi Mo that Wang Yusek Shan Di Qianbei talked about. I was also recommended to come here, but by Ling Zhongtian Qianbei. North San's number one master. Yi Mo knew Ling Zhongtian. He was the number one master of the North Far State and was also said to be a solo cultivator. Su Changji nodded. That's right, Ling Qianbei is undoubtedly the number one person in North Far State. But the cultivation difference between North Far State and South Peace State is too great. Ling Qianbei can't even be ranked amongst the top 100 in South Peace State. Really? Yi Mo asked in shock. Yes, the South Peace State cultivation level is far from what we see superficially. Many truth, realization state cultivators don't show up in the world. They just want to ascend to the immortal realm. We never hear of them. Su Changji nodded seriously. Yi Mo suddenly asked, Brother Su, since you were recommended by Ling Zhongtian Qianbei, why didn't you join a sect? Su Changji shook his head. My situation is rather complicated. It can't be solved by joining a sect. Plus, even if I join one, I won't be able to break through nascent soul state. Why is that? Yi Mo asked subconsciously. Disillusion flashed across Su Changji's eyes. He said after a moment, "The cultivation method I'm cultivating is very special and high level, but it only has steps up to nascent soul state. There's nothing for any stages afterwards. 100 years ago, I was already in nascent soul state, tertiary stage. Now I'm still at this level. If I don't get a new cultivation method, I will remain a nascent soul state cultivator until I die." So this was it. Without a hollow spirit state cultivation method, a nascent soul state cultivator might explode if he forcefully tried to break through. Yi Mo didn't know why Su Changji didn't change cultivation methods, but he didn't ask. Su Changji continued. Ling Zhongtian Qian Bei knew of my situation, and he tried very hard to help me find the latter part of that cultivation method, but he still hasn't been able to find it up until now. He eventually used a recommendation spot to send me here, so I can search for my fortune myself. I've been wandering around everywhere and made quite a name for myself, but I haven't gotten any news of it. Although Yi Mo could write a new cultivation method using the three-birth chant, he only just met Su Changji and didn't know if he was trustworthy. The three-birth chant was too large a secret. Chapter 1036. Take a disciple for the master. Chapter 1036. Take a disciple for the master. Su Changji didn't know what Yi Mo was thinking and continued. Although I'm the number 1 nascent soul state in North Far State, if I go to the South Peace State trial tablet, I would barely make it into the top 50. I just don't want to expose that I came from the North Far State, so I didn't go try. For me, the most important thing is to find the latter half of my cultivation method. Yi Mo fell silent for a moment before asking, "How do you know so much about me, Brother Su?" Su Changji laughed. "Don't worry, I know a lot about you because you're too famous in North Far State. You're the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame #1 and created the spirit-weaving pill. Old Man Kong favors you as well. News of what you did in the herb plane spread out. Only a madman like you would form your golden core during a battle. After you came out, you killed Ghost Immortal Sex, Jizi Yuan. I went to Peihai City to look for you after Shan Di Qian Bei said you were there. I've long admired a genius like you, but you'd already left Peihai City. It's really fate that we could meet here." He paused and said, "You probably don't know what happened after you left. Many big sects went to Peihai to find you hoping you would join them, but unfortunately, they didn't find you just like me." Hearing this, Yi Mo immediately asked, "Brother Su, how is my Peihai MOU doing?" Su Changji smiled. "You don't need to worry, MOU is very well. After you became famous, many of your friends went to join MOU. Ghost Immortal Sect and that Pill Tower wanted to start trouble there, but Wang Yu's sect intervened and the two powers didn't even dare to say anything. I still have a letter for you here. Before I left Peihai, your wife and sister told me to give it to you if I met you." Then Su Changji passed a letter to Yi Mo. Yi Mo read the letter and felt warm. Song Yanzhu, Yiling, Su Jingwen, and them all sent their messages telling Yi Mo they were fine and not to worry about them. They also mentioned that Su Changji helped Yi Mo a lot. Su Changji wasn't familiar with Yi Mo, but he helped Yi Mo clearly because he liked what Yi Mo did. Yi Mo felt his heart rest easy and put the letter down. He thanked Su Changji again. "Thanks a lot, Brother Su." Su Changji waved his hand and smiled. "I don't have that many people to think about. I'm very free." "Brother Yi Mo, you probably came to the city for the Truthfall Palace, right?" "Yes, I want to go see too. The opportunity is rare. I only got an opportunity by chance." Yi Mo nodded. Su Changji fell silent for a moment and said, "Brother Yi, you know why I came here. My cultivation method is very special and I can't change to another cultivation method. So if you go to the Truthfall Palace, can you help me see if you can find the latter half of the cultivation method?" After Su Changji brought him the family letter, Yemo was already planning to help. He just didn't know what Su Changji's cultivation method was. Now that he said this, Yemo felt he didn't need to hide anything. He got up and said, "Brother Su might not believe me, but if I have a general look at a cultivation method, I can perfect it myself. I did this for my own cultivation method." Looking at Su Changji's shocked eyes, Yemo continued, "If Brother Su trusts me, you can show me your cultivation method. I might be able to help." Yemo wanted to help Su Changji, but if he wasn't willing to take out his cultivation method, then never mind. Su Changji finally woke up from the shock of Yemo's words. If he didn't know who Yemo was, he would have thought Yemo was at least truth realization state or even an immortal. After a long while, Su Changji breathed, "No wonder, brother, you can dominate cultivators of the same level in North Far State. You have such overpowered capabilities." "Thank you. But my cultivation method is different from others. It's not that I'm not willing to show you, but if you can't find the latter part, it's indeed unable to be completed." Yemo smiled and didn't speak. If Su Changji wasn't willing to take it out, he wasn't going to offer a second time. They had a good impression of each other, but after all, they'd been together for too short a time. Just when Yemo thought Su Changji wasn't going to take it out, Su Changji brought out a cloth made from unknown materials and placed it in front of Yemo. "This is the cultivation method I got. Have a look." It's not something that's substantial. Usually, cultivation methods were inscribed in jade slips. Yemo rarely saw ones recorded on cloth. It was clearly an ancient cultivation method. Yemo nodded and just read the beginning before looking at Su Changji in shock. "Blue River Spirit Chant. Your cultivation method is a spirit cultivation method?" Su Changji smiled bitterly and nodded. "Yes, when I got this cultivation method, there was also this sword, Blue River Spirit Sword." The words Blue River Emperor were on the sword hilt. Yemo soon found that this cultivation method was much faster than even ordinary heaven-grade cultivation methods. Many cultivation essence routes and meridians were similar to his three-birth chant, but there were some places that needed to be perfected. Su Changji saw Yemo study the cloth intently and didn't say anything. After a while, Yemo wrapped up the cloth and gave it back to Su Changji. "Brother Su, I've read it. It has definitely surpassed a heaven-grade cultivation method. I don't dare to guess what level it's at, but I'm sure that even if there was a latter half to this, it's not on Luoyu continent. It might be from another realm. I think it would be very hard to find the latter half of this cultivation method." Su Changji didn't seem too disappointed with Yemo's words and just sighed. "How can I not realize that? But I find that I can't change to other cultivation method. It's very different than other cultivation methods." Yemo smiled and interrupted. "Brother Su, if you want to cultivate another cultivation method, I have a way. This cultivation method is just unique in the cultivation essence you cultivate. This can be solved." "Huh." Su Changji got up immediately and asked desperately, "Brother Su, you have a way for me to change to another cultivation method?" Yemo smiled. "Of course, but I can also keep perfecting your Blue River Spirit Chant slowly. It just depends on which one you choose." "You can really complete it?" Su Changji grabbed Yemo's hand in excitement. If the Blue River Spirit Chant could be perfected, why would he choose another cultivation method? Yemo nodded. "If Brother Su trusts me, then I can. But right now, I'm only nascent soul state level 3. I can only perfect it to the hollow spirit state, tertiary stage. The cultivation method afterwards will need to wait until after my power increases before I can finish it." "I trust you, of course," Su Changji said without hesitation. If this cultivation method wasn't completed, he would be stuck in nascent soul state forever. Regardless of whether Yemo sued or not, he would try it. Plus, he liked the way Yemo did things and had investigated him. He knew what sort of person Yemo was. He wouldn't lie. Despite what Yemo said sounding absurd, He was subconsciously willing to believe it was true. "Brother Yi, if you can help me perfect the Blue River spirit chant, my life is yours." Su Changji got up and said seriously. If Yi Mo could perfect it, Yi Mo was akin to his master. "No, Brother Yi, if you perfect it, you're like my master. If it's not that I really want to be friends with you, I would worship you as my master," Su Changji said genuinely. Yi Mo immediately understood and said, "In that case, I'll take you in as a disciple." Su Changji dazed, thinking, "I didn't say I was going to worship you as a master." Yi Mo laughed and patted Su Changji's shoulder. "My master is called Three Birth. I'll take you in as a disciple for my master. How about it, martial brother Su?" Su Changji immediately understood what Yi Mo meant and said happily, "Very well, martial brother Yi, haha, great." Su Changji didn't know which master this Three Birth was, but clearly he was no ordinary person to be able to teach a disciple like Yi Mo. After talking for half a day, Su Changji said he would go to Mou City in South Peace State while he waited for Yi Mo to come out from the Truthfall Palace. He wouldn't need to roam around everywhere. Ling Xiaoshuang was very unsatisfied, however. He wanted to teach Ning Xiaoma a lesson. But that guy stayed with Su Changji and hadn't been out for an entire day. What were they talking about? Chapter 1037. Meeting Dongfang Nana Again. Chapter 1037. Meeting Dongfang Nana again. Yi Mo just informed Yushanping and Gulian and moved to Su Changji's place. After his ordinary cultivation, he would help Su Changji perfect his cultivation method and discuss cultivation experience. Although he really wanted to buy an armor cultivation artifact, he feared being recognized by the Lightning Cloud sect, so he didn't dare to go out. 3 months swung by, and when Su Changji got his perfected to Hollow Spirit State Blue River Spirit Chant, his joy was inexpressible. Although he didn't know how well it was perfected and if it would be worse than it originally was, it was so much better than having no cultivation method. Although it was Yi Mo's first time seeing the spirit cultivation method, it was all the same to him. The cultivation method might be a higher level, but it was still encompassed under the cultivation theory described by the Three Birth Chant. "Martial brother, I'm going to find a place to reach Hollow Spirit State. I won't wait for you. But be careful of that Wu Yu. He seems magnanimous, but is actually a vengeful spirit. He will be going to the Truthfall Palace for sure. Be wary of him." Su Changji got his new cultivation method and couldn't wait to try it out. He hadn't been able to cultivate for almost 100 years. Yi Mo smiled. "Martial brother, don't worry, you can wait for me at Mou City after your divine damnation." As for Wu Yu, it was just as he said. Wu Yu had better pray he didn't meet him again. If he saw Wu Yu when there was no one around, he would become the next Tian Alfing. After sending off Su Changji, there were 10 days before Truthfall Palace opened. Yi Mo eventually couldn't resist going out. He didn't believe he could be that unlucky. It had been 3 months since that event. He didn't believe he would meet that nosy Ling Xiaoshuang. Every time he thought about that divine damnation, he still felt some fear. He had to buy another set of armor. A good set of armor could save his life. Yu Yang Artifact Store. It wasn't a very big artifact store, not even second grade, but Yi Mo came here especially. Su Changji had introduced it to him. He told him that the place didn't have top-grade cultivation artifacts, but the quality of items were very good because the owner Yu Yang was a level 9 forgery great master and could cultivate extreme-grade spirit artifacts. If he was lucky, even half cultivation artifacts and occasionally low-grade cultivation artifacts would be produced. His quality was better than others of the same level. However, it was more expensive than many other places. Only loyal customers would come here. As soon as Yi Mo left, he felt someone following him. He immediately thought of Wu Yu and sneered. He was planning to take this guy out at the Truthfall Palace, but since he couldn't wait, then it wasn't Yi Mo's fault. Thinking about this, Yi Mo chose a deserted place to go. He didn't even scan his spirit cents out in case his stalker noticed. Truthful Palace was prosperous and bustling, but most of the people were gathered at the market or the Tao discussion stage. 15 minutes passed, and Yi Mo arrived at the most deserted corner of the city. He stopped and scanned his spirit sense out. Coming to this point, clearly the person behind him already knew that he was caught. "It's you!" Yi Mo looked on in shock as he saw Dongfang Nana. Dongfang Nana didn't seem scared and worried like last time. She caught up quickly. Yi Mo realized that Dongfang Nana wasn't trying to follow him, but wanted to see him instead. Dongfang Nana walked up to Yi Mo quickly and knelt down sobbing. Yi Mo frowned. To be honest, he didn't have a good impression of Dongfang Nana at all. "Big brother, I owe Zifeng kill me." Dongfang Nana wiped her tears and wept. Yi Mo's face changed. He didn't even ask how Dongfang Nana recognized him and questioned her harshly. "What happened to Zifeng? Speak." Dongfang Nana sniffed. "I lived with Zifeng in Canada when the portal opened to the small world. Many people went there. I couldn't endure living a peaceful life, so I persuaded Zifeng to take me to the Duanhang ranges too." "Zifeng is also in South Peace State?" Yi Mo was shook. Yi Zifeng had no spirit root. It would be a living hell for him here. He wouldn't even be able to survive. Dongfang Nana's Dantian was destroyed too. Why did the two even come? Dongfang Nana nodded and continued calmly. "When I came to the small world, we followed many people to Exin Jia Mountain and came to the South Peace State. Coming here, we realized this was a cultivation world and there was no way back. Zifeng wanted to look for you, but we didn't know anyone here. We didn't know where to start." "Just tell me where he is." Yi Mo glared coldly at her. If this woman dared to lie, he would kill her immediately. Dongfang Nana said pitifully, "I don't know when I came here with Zifeng. We were barely surviving in a small city. Then we heard a big sect was taking in disciples. Zifeng and I went to check our spirit roots. Zifeng had no spirit root, but I was a pure with spirit root. No wonder she cultivated so fast. Yi Mo didn't expect this woman to have such good talent. Clearly, the 7-star sect Eternity saw this and wasn't going to let her go. They were going to train her as a core disciple." Dongfang Nana continued. "That sect was Eternity C. The person responsible for taking in disciples saw that I was pure with spirit root and was very happy. But when they saw that my Dantian was shattered, they were very disappointed." Yi Mo sneered. "But then did they find that you've never cultivated before, so your Dantian could be recovered?" Once someone had begun cultivation, a shattered Dantian was very hard to repair. But for those who hadn't cultivated, it was troublesome but not impossible. Yi Mo didn't damage it too much on account of Yi Zifeng. Dongfang Nana nodded in horror. "Yes, they recovered my Dantian and are going to take me to Eternity Mountain." Then Dongfang Nana began sobbing again. After a while she said, "Zifeng was very happy for me after knowing I was chosen. I said I must go to Eternity, see with him. He agreed. But the second day when we were planning to leave, Zifeng disappeared." Yi Mo interrupted. "Was Zifeng killed by those Eternity Sea bastards? If you dare to lie a single word, I'm going to kill you even if Zifeng wants to protect you." Dongfang Nana sniffed and didn't seem to hear his words at all. "I don't know, but before he left a letter for me. He said he can't stop following my dream. He'll go find you." Dongfang Nana took out a letter and gave it to Yi Mo. Yi Mo opened it and saw it was indeed Zifeng's handwriting. He had written, "Nana, sorry, forgive me for leaving without saying goodbye. I know that after you realized there was cultivation in this world, your greatest hope is to cultivate. Cultivators have endless life, but I'm useless. I can only follow you and let you watch me die. I can't stop your pursuit of cultivation. I can't let a woman sustain me. I'm going to go find my big brother. Perhaps he has a way of letting me cultivate. Sorry, I'm going. If I can cultivate, the first thing I will do is come see you. Take care, Zifeng." Yi Mo knew that this letter was something Yi Zifeng would write. Yi Zifeng looked amicable, but he had his pride. If Yi Zifeng followed Dongfang Nana, it would indeed be dragging her behind. Would the heartless sea let Yi Zifeng hinder a genius disciple's cultivation? Yi Mo wasn't sure if Yi Zifeng's departure was related to the Eternity Sea, but they were very suspicious. He would only know for sure once he saw Yi Zifeng. Yi Mo wasn't too worried about Yi Zifeng leaving alone, but more worried whether Eternity Sea would kill him. Dongfang Nana just kept sobbing and didn't even look up. "Are you from the Dongfang family?" Yi Mo suddenly asked. He asked now because he knew she was from there. With their feud, he would need to be more careful. Chapter 1038. The Woman Who Doesn't Go Away. Chapter 1038. The Woman Who Doesn't Go Away. No, my full name is Chung Nana. When Dongfang Wang invited me to join the Dongfang family, I was indeed wholeheartedly helping him do things. I thought the future Dongfang Wang painted was real. Even when I was with Zifeng, I had ulterior motives. Dongfang Nana seemed to know Yi Mo detested her a lot, and she didn't dare to look up at Yi Mo. She just said, quietly, "When Zifeng saved me and took me from Luoyu, I realized what Zifeng meant to me. I did a lot of things in Luoyu, and Zifeng knew some of them, but he never blamed me. Without him, I have nothing. Yi Mo sighed. Zifeng valued relationships a lot, just like him, but he could tell what was right and wrong. Zifeng's love for Chung Nana was really something else. He clearly knew she was wrong, but he still let her do what she wanted. But Yi Mo could feel that Chung Nana wasn't lying. His senses had always been accurate. It seemed that Chung Nana was genuine to Zifeng now. Yi Mo asked after a moment, "How did you recognize me?" He had changed his appearance, and Chung Nana had only seen him once, and her power was very low at the time. How could she recognize him? Dongfang Nana said, "The moment you pulled me, I saw the fury and pain in your eyes. You looked at Zifeng, and I the same way at Luoyu City. I would never forget those eyes. I immediately knew it was Big Brother." So that was it. Dongfang Nana was Zifeng's wife, but she followed behind a nascent soul state cultivator like she was his girl. Zifeng was gone too. How could Yi Mo not be furious and disappointed? Seeing that Yi Mo didn't speak, Dongfang Nana suddenly said, "Big Brother, I want to leave Eternity Sea Sect and look for Zifeng with you." Yi Mo shook his head. "With my current power, I can't take you away. Just stay at Eternity Sea Sect for now. You're a core disciple. No one dares to do anything to you. And I hope what you said just now is all true." "Yes." Chung Nana's eyes flashed with a sliver of disappointment. She knew Yi Mo was speaking the truth. Suddenly, as though to explain something, she said, "That day I went with Wu Yu to the Spirit Rest Tower because my martial sister wanted to drink the snow for tea from there. I was helping her buy it, and Wu Yu wanted to come along no matter what." "I know. I'm going to the Truthfall Palace. Stay at Eternity Sea Sect and cultivate. Regardless whether I can find Zifeng or not, I will come tell you. Tell me first, which city did you and Zifeng separate in?" Yi Mo asked. Zifeng was a mortal. He shouldn't have gone too far. "MHM," Chung Nana agreed. "That city is called Shuqiao City. I asked the Eternity Sea Sect's people to look for him, but they said they didn't find him. I believed them, but now that I think about it, they probably lied to me." She didn't know about spirit sense at the time, but after she cultivated and learned about spirit sense, she knew how easy it would be for a cultivator to find an ordinary person. "Take this. If anything comes up, message me." Yi Mo gave his flying sword messenger to Chung Nana. He didn't leave a communication bead because South Peace State was too big. Who knew where he would be? Chung Nana took the flying sword and hesitated before saying, "Big Brother, you need to be careful of that Wu Yu. He said he would kill you in the Truthfall Palace." Yi Mo waved his hand. "Don't worry about that. If I was so easily killed, I wouldn't be standing here today. Go back first. Don't let anyone know that you know me." Although Yimo's instincts told him that Chung Nana didn't lie, this was the cultivation realm. Anything could happen. It was better to be careful. If he had to compare, he would trust Su Changji more than Chung Nana. "How dare you, you shameless thing!" A crisp voice sounded out, and a sword ray flew towards Yimo. Yimo waved up a cultivation essence wall and blocked it. He then stared at the person and said, "Did I offend you? Why did you suddenly attack me?" He knew that sword ray was a casual attack, so he blocked it casually too. But he cursed his luck. He was scared of meeting Ling Xiaoshuang the most in this city because only she could guess that he killed Tian Aofing. But every time he came out, he always saw her. Ling Xiaoshuang stared at Yimo in fury and then at Chung Nana. "You're a shameless person indeed. 3 months ago, you assaulted this girl, and now 3 months later, you've tricked her here to assault her. You're a disgrace to the cultivation realm. Last time, Martial Brother Wu didn't kill you, but I will kill you now." Then, Ling Xiaoshuang's power increased, and her flying sword began to emit a bleak killing intent. Yimo sneered. "With which eye did you see me assault her? Plus, if it was you, even if you let me assault you, I wouldn't be bothered." Ling Xiaoshuang just wanted to say, "There are still tears on Chung Nana's face. I'm not blind, how can I not see?" But after hearing Yimo's words, she increased her power even more and couldn't be bothered to talk. Chung Nana quickly stopped Ling Xiaoshuang and said, "Martial sister, thank you, but I think you've misunderstood. Big Brother Ning didn't assault me. He's just discussing some things with me." Ling Xiaoshuang didn't expect that the woman Yimo was assaulting would speak up for him. She was dazed and forgot to attack. Ling Xiaoshuang could clearly see that Chung Nana wasn't being controlled, so she couldn't understand it even more. Her killing intent dissipated, and after a long while, she said angrily, "Shameless!" Then she turned and left. Yimo tried to avoid contact with this woman, but this didn't mean that Chung Nana didn't want to talk back. She didn't feel comfortable being called shameless, so she rebutted, "You're shameless." Ling Xiaoshuang heard this and was furious. She was the second beauty of South Peace State, 10 beauties. Countless people admired her. This was the first time she was called shameless, but thinking that she cursed first, she only sneered and left. Yimo breathed easy seeing that Ling Xiaoshuang didn't stay. Yimo let Chung Nana go first, and then he went back to Yang Artifact Tower. Yimo thought that the shop would be empty, but after coming here he realized how wrong he was. The location was distant and the place wasn't big, only about 40 square meters. But there were 4 chairs, meaning that the place could only accommodate 4 customers at most. Each chair had a small square table in front of it. Yimo was surprised to find that there were already 3 people inside when he arrived. The 3 cultivators scanned him casually with their spirit sense and didn't mind. They just looked down while sitting on their seats as though waiting for something. Chapter 1039. Competing Bids. Chapter 1039. Competing bids. There only seemed to be these 3 cultivators in the shop. Yimo studied the place. There were just a few spirit artifacts placed on a wooden rack. There was nothing covering it and a layer of dust on it. There seemed to be another room inside, but it was blocked by a formation, so Yimo's spirit sense couldn't reach it. If Su Jichang didn't recommend this place, he really wouldn't believe there was a forgery great master here, and a level 9 one at that. How could this place even be called an artifact shop? "May I ask if Master Yang is here?" Yimo could only ask the cultivator sitting on the side, seeing he couldn't find anyone from the shop here. The cultivator sneered and didn't even look at Yimo, much less answer him. The 2 people on the side didn't even change their expressions. Yimo was speechless. These 3 really had an attitude. The weakest of them was Nascent Soul State Level 4. The highest was Nascent Soul State Level 7. Any of them had higher power level than him. Yimo could only go sit on that empty chair. The three saw that Yi Mo sat down and looked a little surprised, but didn't say anything. Yi Mo knew what they were surprised about. In the cultivation realm, a small difference in power was actually a huge gap. Yi Mo was nascent soul state primary stage, but these three were middle stage or tertiary stage. Yi Mo was the weakest here and had no right to talk. The three ignored Yi Mo, clearly not welcoming him here, yet Yi Mo still sat down. Before long, another customer came. It was another nascent soul state cultivator, a female who was only nascent soul state level 1. However, this woman immediately caught the attention of the other three. She was a very beautiful female cultivator. Her body formed perfect curves at the door and she emitted a feminine vibe all over her. However, her face was very cold. Even Yi Mo admitted that this woman was quite attractive. She was on par with Ling Xiaoshuang and seemed to emit a unique attraction to men that would draw their attention to her. Her eyebrows slanted upwards. Clearly, she had her own opinions and was a very confident woman. Yi Mo took back his gaze. This woman was very beautiful, but to him it was just that. Both Luo Ying and Ning Qingxue were better than her. The woman saw that there were no more seats, so she just stood in the room and didn't speak. Yi Mo took no initiative to give his seat over to her. He felt the cultivation essence waves. There was a strong fire element presence, meaning that Yu Yang was still forging. But someone else got up. It was that nascent soul state level 5 cultivator. He stepped out and saluted with his fists to the woman. Martial Sister Wen, I'm Tian Xian Sex Ji Chuanxue. You can sit at my place. The female cultivator glanced coldly at Ji Chuanxue, but stood there without moving. Ji Chuanxue felt awkward, but laughed at himself before sitting back down. Yi Mo felt it odd. This woman was only nascent soul state level 1, and that Ji Chuanxue was nascent soul state level 5 and from a 7-star sect. How could someone like him be so easy to talk to? But soon, Yi Mo realized what was going on. If Ji Chuanxue sucked up to the woman just because she was pretty, he would have kept talking. But that woman ignored him, and he didn't dare to get angry. Clearly, the woman had a higher status than him. Female cultivators with the last name Wen, and a higher status than Ji Chuanxue, a nascent soul state, level 1, with this level of beauty. Without a doubt, she was Wen Sai. Yi Mo had a good impression of her at first. But when he realized this woman was Wen Sai, he immediately felt disgust towards her. She had challenged Luo Ying. What he didn't expect was that a 9-star sect core disciple would come to the shop to buy something. Soon the restriction was lifted and heat burst out from inside the room. A skinny, black man walked out, bringing the scorching heat with him. He was as skinny as a bamboo stick. The man walked out, and the 3 nascent soul state cultivators sitting next to Yi Mo got up and saluted with their fists. Master Yu! Wen Sai called out, Yu Qian Bei! Yi Mo realized this man was Yu Yang. His power was nascent soul state level 9, barely a Qianbei. Yu Yang didn't speak. He walked to that counter and sat down before saying slowly, this is the last business for this year. The items are not bad. Extreme Great Attack Spirit Artifact, Black Rock, sword with a price of 1. 15 million top grade spirit stones. Half cultivation artifact, golden net, worth 1. 9 million top grade spirit stones and half cultivation artifact, armor 9 flavors, costing 2. 9 million top grade spirit stones. Then Yu Yang looked at the 5 and said, the highest bidder gets it. If you have good material, you can use that in your bid. Yi Mo realized why Su Changji said this place was more expensive. Not only was the base price marked higher than other shops, but this guy also got bidders to come. No wonder the other 3 didn't like it when he came. Luckily, Yi Mo made it on time today. This was Yu Yang's last business for the year. The other 4 clearly already knew about the rules and dates. Su Changji got this news from somewhere else, so it wasn't very accurate. We understand these are old rules, Ji Chuanchua smiled and said, "We're quite lucky this time. There are 2 half-cultivation artifacts and 1 extreme-grade spirit artifact. That's close to a half-cultivation artifact as well. Good things, good things. I'll take 9 flavors." Yi Mo liked that half-cultivation artifact. Insolence, a mere nascent soul state, primary stage, cultivator, dares to take it. Ji Chuanchua sneered. When Tsai heard this and sneered, Ji Chuanchua just realized that when Tsai was also nascent soul state, primary stage. He started to sweat and smiled apologetically. "Marshall's sister, when I wasn't talking about you. You're the core disciple of a 9-star sect. You're not someone ordinary people can compare with." Yi Mo looked at Ji Chuanchua in contempt and said, "If you lower your head just a little more, it'll be on the ground. Plus, Master, you said that the highest bidder gets it. Is there a problem with me taking it? If you have a problem, then bid." One Sai didn't expect Yi Mo would dare to disrespect a 7-star sect's core disciple, but she immediately realized that Yi Mo was missing a screw or two. Ji Chuanchua heard Yi Mo's scorn and wanted to rage, but remembering that this place was Yuyang Artifact Tower, his fury dissipated. He just listed Yi Mo as someone he must kill. He said coldly 1 million. 5 million. What everyone didn't expect was that when Tsai placed a bid even before Yi Mo. Chapter 1041. I also know how to show off. Chapter 1041. I also know how to show off when Tsai bid, and Ji Chuanchua immediately stopped. He admired when Tsai a lot. How could he compete with her? The other 2 didn't seem to have the capability to buy, so they didn't participate either. Yi Mo was the only other person with the money to buy this half-cultivation artifact. When Tsai nodded after seeing that Ji Chuanchua didn't speak. Just when she wanted to take out her spirit stones, she heard Yi Mo bid again. 7 million. You. When Tsai glared at Yi Mo, she was sure that he did this intentionally. The cultivation artifact armor wasn't bad, but it wasn't worth 7 million. 5 million was the highest its price would usually go. Yi Mo was expressionless. He didn't even look at Wen Tsai and just stared at that cultivation artifact. "You're asking to die." Ji Huanchua said this and saw Yu Yang stare at him with cold eyes. He felt a chill and subconsciously stopped talking. "Okay, you have a lot of spirit stones, right? Yu Qianbei, I'll pay 5 million. Wen Tsai said in anger. Her personality was such that she wouldn't accept a loss to anyone under a similar situation. It was her constant excellence and her character that made her unhappy with Luoying. Although she was sure she didn't like Yuan Guannan like people said, she couldn't accept it that Yuan Guannan liked Luoying more than her. Now, 5 million far exceeded the value of the cultivation artifact armor. The reason when Tsai bid 5 million was because she wanted to beat Yi Mo with spirit stones and make him unable to retaliate. A mere solo cultivator dared to compete spirit stones with her. She took out 5 million spirit stones and left them on the counter and took the half-cultivation artifact armor before looking at Yi Mo with cold eyes. She was making this nascent soul state level 3 guy know that he didn't need to show off his paltry amount of spirit stones. Yi Mo wasn't an idiot. Although Yi Mo really wanted this half-cultivation artifact, he would at most bid 1 million if it was an ordinary woman. However, he really disliked this Wen Tsai. Since she liked to show off, he would show off more than her for Susu. This amount of spirit stones was nothing. 10 million. Yi Mo was still expressionless, but he doubled Wen Tsai's bid. What? Wen Tsai was shocked. Was this a madman? 10 million? That was 3 times the value of this half-cultivation artifact armor. The rest of the people looked at Yi Mo like he was an idiot. Even Yu Yang began to study Yi Mo in surprise. After a while, Ji Chuanchua reacted and said to Yi Mo in a sharp voice, Do you not know the rules? If you can't take out 10 million, you will pay with your life. Yi Emo looked at Yu Yang casually and saw he seemed to tacitly agree to Ji Chuanchua's words. He immediately said coldly, Master Yu, although it's my first time coming to your business, the environment isn't very good. Are there things being called out from the side all the time? Yu Yang glanced coldly at Ji Chuanchua, scaring him so much that he shrunk his head back a little. Then he said expressionlessly, although I don't like people being noisy, that friend is right. If you can't live up to your bid, you will lose your life. Yi Emo continued, no one has bid anymore. Don't you think you should be giving 9 flavors to me? Yu Yang glanced at Wen Sai. There was extreme dissatisfaction and discomfort on her face, but she had no choice but to take it. 10 million, that was far more than all she owned. She didn't understand how this unknown solo cultivator was so wealthy. Yu Yang saw that Wen Sai's face looked bad and didn't speak. He knew she wasn't able to bid higher than that. He turned to Yi Emo and said, take out 10 million spirit stones. 9 flavors is yours. Yi Emo took out a storage bag and gave it to Yu Yang. He checked inside. It was indeed 10 million. He then gave Yi Emo a strange look before giving him the half-cultivation artifact armor. Yi Emo picked up the armor and turned to leave. He had got what he wanted and taught Wen Sai a lesson. The price was a little steep, but he had helped Susu get revenge. Yi Emo didn't even look at the other 2 armors. When Wen Sai saw that Yi Emo left without even looking at her, her fury burned even more, but there was nothing she could do. She knew that Yi Emo did this intentionally, slapping her face the same way she tried to slap his. But soon, she adjusted her mood and pointed at the half-cultivation artifact golden net. I'll take this. Luckily, no one dared to bid with her after Yi Emo left. The 2 good magic artifacts were taken, so Ji Chuanchua could only set his gaze on the Black Rock sword. The nascent soul state level 7 solo cultivator didn't make a bid. He smiled bitterly and left the shop. It was obvious that he had given up on buying the magic artifact. When Sai saw this and sneered, she could guess who this person was. If it really was who she thought it was, then even an ordinary nascent soul state level 8 would be dead, much less that nascent soul state level 3. She knew that the nascent soul state level 7 wanted Yi Emo's wealth and wasn't interested in anything else at the shop. Yi Emo stopped and turned around. I thought the one who chased up would be that Ji Chuanchua, but it's actually you. This nascent soul state level 7 had the highest cultivation level but looked the most ordinary. You know I am following you. This nascent soul state cultivator who showed a helpless smile was shaken. He was a solo cultivator, but he was very cruel and careful. He was like Emo Qianli. The reason he acted ordinary was because, after seeing Yi Emo's extravagance, he wasn't interested in anything in the shop. This ordinary nascent soul state primary stage cultivator was his new target. With such a wealthy nascent soul state level 3 cultivator, if he robbed him, he wouldn't need to worry about spirit stones anymore. Yi Emo saw the struggle in his eyes and knew that he harbored some hesitation after seeing that he was able to sense him. He was afraid that he wouldn't be afraid to finish him off in a short time and would catch the attention of the powerful beings in the city. Yi Emo sneered. This guy was really greedy. He wanted to rob him in the city. You want my spirit stones? Yi Emo asked. This cultivator didn't expect Yi Emo to just say it. He was dazed for a while before he reacted. He was a nascent soul state level 7 cultivator, but he had let a nascent soul state level 3 take the upper hand in the conversation. This was a joke. Thinking about this, he giggled. That's right, I'm interested in your storage ring. If you're willing to take it out, I won't hurt you. Yi Emo looked at this nascent soul state level 7 cultivator and pointed at his storage ring, smiling and saying, If you want to rob me here, you might be caught by the powerful beings in the city. If you don't mind, we can go out of the city. What do you think? The nascent soul state cultivator heard this and was surprised. What logic was this? Going out of the city willingly so he could be robbed? He immediately realized something and looked coldly at Yi-Mo. You have a friend hiding outside the city, so you want to trick me out? Yi-Mo patted his head speechlessly. There are a few exits out of the city. If you don't trust me, then how about this? You lead the way. I will follow whichever exit you take. If he wasn't scared of being caught by the powerful cultivators here, he would have attacked already. How was this guy so timid? The nascent soul state cultivator studied Yi-Mo again and again. He didn't believe Yi-Mo would be able to beat him. The difference between a nascent soul state level 3 and level 7 was huge. Even Infinity Sex Yuan Guannan wouldn't dare to be this cocky. If Yi-Mo was able to beat a nascent soul state level 7 as a level 3, he would have long been famous. How could he not know of him? This was all an act. He wanted to make him scared to attack by bluffing. Okay, in that case, follow me, the cultivator said. Chapter 1040 Power of the Heaven Flame. Chapter 1040 Power of the Heaven Flame. That nascent soul state cultivator went from the south door to the north door, but Yi-Mo followed him without lagging behind at all. If it wasn't that he was choosing the path, he would suspect again whether Yi-Mo had someone to help him. When that cultivator left the north door, he went even faster. When he saw that Yi-Mo had no intentions of escaping, he felt a little unsafe. When the two were nearly 20,000 kilometers from the city, the nascent soul state cultivator stopped. He was sure now that Yi-Mo didn't fear him at all, although he didn't know why a nascent soul state level 3 wasn't scared of him. He didn't want to drag it on anymore. As soon as he stopped, he took out a blood-red sword without talking. As he spun around, the red sword brought about countless white demonic chi that swept over at Yi-Mo. He was planning to kill Yi-Mo as quickly as he could, no matter what schemes Yi-Mo had. A demonic cultivator, Yi-Mo released Zisu, also bringing about purple sword rays. Before the demonic chi even reached Yi-Mo, there were light cracking sounds. It was corrosive demonic chi. Yi-Mo didn't expect that this ordinary-looking demonic cultivator cultivated corrosive demonic chi. Even if Yi-Mo could block this chi, he wouldn't dare to let it touch him. Who knew how painful it was? Yi-Mo didn't dare to hesitate at all now. Zisu was releasing a more and more powerful chi as more and more purple sword rays were released, forming a defensive formation. This was the first time Yi-Mo used illusion, cloud formation, kill strike with a defense formation. Yi-Mo's cultivation essence was powerful, and as his sword rays grew, the demonic chi was completely blocked out by the sword ray formation. The nascent soul state cultivator saw this and was dazed, but the next moment he was happy. He didn't think that Yi-Mo was a mere nascent soul state level 3, yet was still so powerful. This meant that Yi-Mo believed he could kill him, so there would be no helpers. Ji Chuanchua was right. This was indeed an insolent guy. Seeing how he sneered at Ji Chuanchua and didn't even let Wen-Sai have what she wanted, he thought Yi-Mo had a big origin, but in the end he was just an idiot. He had some power and looked down on everyone. This guy would be killed soon, even if he didn't kill him today. Thinking about this nascent soul state didn't have any more concerns. A sharp howl sounded, and the demonic chi started to rumble even more before pierced into Yi-Mo's formation immediately. A putrid smell pervaded the air. Punk, you want to block my zero-life demonic mist with a mere sword ray formation. The cultivator used more hand signs as he spoke, and the mist got thicker. This guy was definitely acting weak. Yi-Mo knew his power. He was nascent soul state level 3, but he had 8 spirit roots and cultivated the supreme 3-birth chant. Both his cultivation essence and spirit sense wasn't something that ordinary cultivators could compare to. He was sure he could even kill the nascent soul state level 8 Gulian easily. But this cultivator was only nascent soul state level 7, and his cultivation essence was so dense. This zero-life demonic mist was too shocking. Yemo was sure that even Wu, you wouldn't have it easy if you met this guy. The demonic chi grew more terrifying, and his illusion cloud formation, kill strike, couldn't stop it anymore. If it was some other cultivator, Yemo would use Purple Eye Soul Sever and even Shadowless. But it wasn't a good choice for this demonic cultivator. Even if he killed him, the demonic chi would still remain. The demonic cultivator saw that Yemo didn't have any means to resist and could only watch on as his zero-life demonic mist invaded his surroundings. He sneered, a mere nascent soul state level 3. His power was not bad, but he had almost been scared of this cultivator. Yemo scanned his spirit sense out and made sure that there was no one within a 1,000-kilometer radius here before dropping his hesitations. His power grew, an illusion cloud formation, kill. Sword rays became denser. Pre-death struggle. The nascent soul state level 7 sneered in contempt. Die. Then a bone-chilling red ray suddenly exploded from the blood-red sword and pierced out from the mist. This red ray seemed to even condense the air and charged straight at Yemo's dantian. Yemo waved his hand, and a red flame was released from his hand. At the same time, the red turned into a huge, terrifying flame that expanded from Yemo. Sizzle. There were only burnt smells in the air, as the demonic mist had already been burnt to nothing. Clash Zisu and the blood sword clashed together heavily. Instantly, blood rays splashed everywhere. Meanwhile, Zisu formed countless whirlpools of sword chi. The blood ray was intentionally spilt everywhere, but had been burnt to nothing. Meanwhile, Yemo used this opportunity to use illusion, cloud, whirlpool strike. The nascent soul state level 7 didn't expect that Yemo's cultivation essence was no weaker than his, and even a little stronger. He immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, and before the blood even landed on the ground, Yemo's flame had already vaporized it. At the same time, the flame began to sweep towards the cultivator. My zero-life demonic mist. The nascent soul state cultivator only barely took back his sword ray before Yemo's terrifying flame completely enveloped him. You actually have a heaven flame. The cultivator was swept away by the mist lotus heart fire before he could finish. Before his death, he finally understood why Yemo wasn't scared of him. Even with his power, he was killed easily. One could see that ordinary nascent soul state, tertiary stage, cultivators couldn't even resist him. Yet, such a powerful nascent soul state cultivator was unheard of. But he couldn't even regret anymore, as his consciousness was annihilated by the heaven flame. After Yemo killed this cultivator, he took the storage ring and turned to leave. After a while, he went back into the city through the south door. He didn't even care about that blood sword. Yemo knew that despite them fighting so far away from the city, the demonic mist was so powerful that there was no way powerful cultivators wouldn't notice. So he went back to the city immediately. At the same time, Yemo was very happy with his mist lotus heart fire. This made him want to create a battle technique for his heaven flame. Otherwise, no matter how powerful his heaven flame was, it might not be able to lock down the opponent if he was too strong. If the opponent also understood fire, it might be even harder. 15 minutes after Yemo left, 2 cultivators came. It was easy to see that they were countless times stronger than Yemo. One even frowned and looked at the direction Yemo left. Blood sword. One cultivator picked it up and looked at it. The other cultivator looked and nodded. It has some history. 3,000 years ago, it killed countless people in the hands of the blood demon Sherlon. Recently, it fell in the hands of a solo cultivator called Lu Jianqiang. He's also a murderous demon cultivator. Who killed him? It's said that he's very careful. Although he could kill people higher level than him, he never risks it, so how can he be killed? The first cultivator explained, the blood sword has a name called Blue Butcher. But since it's been left on the ground casually, it's obvious that Lu Jianxiang has been killed. There are clear signs of battle here, as well as traces of the zero-life demonic mist. This means that the person who killed him has a similar power level. In that case, why did that cultivator leave Blood Butcher here? It's a top-grade cultivation artifact, but it seemed to have lost its spirit, the other cultivator said. The first cultivator frowned and said carefully after a while, "Brother me, if I'm not wrong, there are marks of heaven flame. Blood Butcher was destroyed by the heaven flame. That's why it was dumped here." What heaven flame? There's a cultivator with heaven flame? The other cultivator was shocked by this news. Chapter 1041 Gathering of Geniuses. Chapter 1041 Gathering of Geniuses. This is not only heaven flame, but heaven flame that has reached red color. Who has red heaven flame? That first cultivator asked assertively. Heaven flames were hard to get and even harder to upgrade. Some people could get heaven flames, but would remain unable to upgrade it their entire life. However, there were people who could upgrade earth flame to blue color. Yi Mo didn't know that people had guessed that he had heaven flame. The first thing he did when he got back was to spirit control the 9 flavors. The Truthfall Palace was about to open, and after seeing that nascent soul state level 7, Yi Mo didn't dare to be careless. He was strong amongst nascent soul state cultivators, but there were too many prodigies in the world. Sometimes, it wasn't that he was weaker, but a sudden strange attack might be able to kill him if caught off guard. At the same time, Truthfall City let out some news. The demonic cultivator Lu Jianxiang, ranked 219th on the nascent soul state trial tablet, had been killed outside the city not long ago. With this news, many people started guessing at who had killed Lu Jianxiang, because although he was cruel and merciless, he never fought people who were higher level than him, and he really knew how to run away as well. But the news was that Lu Jianxiang was killed during a heated battle. This meant that Lu Jianxiang died to another nascent soul state cultivator. So the genius nascent soul state cultivators in the city were all targets of conjectures. What? He actually killed Lu Jianxiang? Wen Sai heard this news and didn't even dare to believe it. She guessed that the cultivator who chased out after Yi Mo was Lu Jianxiang, but she wasn't too sure. Now that Lu Jianxiang had been killed outside the city, it clearly the doing of that nascent soul state level 3 cultivator. Wen Sai came from a 9-star sect and was the core disciple as well as number 1 beauty of South Peace State. She had a narrow heart and a sense of superiority, but that didn't mean she was dumb. Instead, she knew how terrifying true genius disciples could be. There were many people stronger than her. But no matter how strong they were, they wouldn't be able to kill the nascent soul state level 7 Lu Jianxiang with nascent soul state level 3 power. If it was just an ordinary level 7, it would have been easier for her to accept. But who Lu Jianxiang was, she knew very well. Even some nascent soul state peak stage cultivators didn't dare to face his zero-life demonic mist. Even her martial brother, Yuan Guannan, wasn't able to kill nascent soul state level 7 Lu Jianxiang as a nascent soul state level 3. Just how overpowered was this cultivator who killed Lu Jianxiang at such a disadvantage? The sense of humiliation she felt from Yi Mo was gone. Instead, she felt deep concern. If she met this cultivator outside in the wilderness, he wouldn't have mercy on her at all. From how he led Lu Jianxiang outside and killed him without a sound, Wen Sai knew this guy was definitely an astute person. After Yi Mo's spirit controlled the armor he cultivated for a few days, he felt it was about time, and thus he left Su Changji's place and went to Sifan Hotel. Little did he know that Gulian and Yu Shanping were very worried. Yi Mo had just given them a notice and left. They didn't know where he was staying at all. The Truthfall Palace was about to open, and Yi Mo was still nowhere to be seen. How could they not be worried? So as soon as he saw Yi Mo, Yu Shamping acted as if he had seen his family and immediately came up, asking Yi Mo if he was okay. He didn't even dare to ask where Yi Mo went. Brother Yi, tomorrow you two will go on Green Pill Sect's ship together. We're extra people, so try not to talk or even look around. There are usually big sex geniuses on the ship, and if we offend someone, we can't deal with it, Yu Shamping said. We're going on a ship? Yi Mo asked in confusion. He thought it would be through a teleportation formation like the airplane. Gu Lian nodded. Yes, you need to go on a ship to get to Truthfall Palace. Dao Friend Yu's words are quite low profile, but it's the truth, Gu Lian said. He was afraid Yi Mo wouldn't be able to control his temper and would screw things up. Yi Mo smiled and said, I know, don't worry, Brother Gu and Brother Yu. Seeing Yi Mo agree, Yu Shamping breathed easy and said quietly in Yi Mo's ear, Did you know that there are crouching tigers and hidden dragons in the city? A few days ago, a very powerful demonic cultivator Lu Jianqiang was killed silently outside the city. No one knows who killed him, but he was ranked 219 on the nascent soul state trial tablet. So it's right to keep a low profile. Yi Mo was shaken. He knew the demonic cultivator was powerful, but didn't expect him to be ranked 219th on the nascent soul state trial tablet. But now, Yi Mo had a vague idea of his power. If he went to try the nascent soul state trial tablet, he might be around 100 or so. Once he reached nascent soul state middle stage, he was confident in getting top 10. At nascent soul state tertiary stage, he was certain to get in the top 3. But Yi Mo wasn't interested in doing that at all. He knew now that even if he found Luo Ying and Ning Qingxue, so what? With their fame, it wasn't realistic to meet them. Perhaps the cultivators challenging him every day would be too many. The second morning, Gu Lian and Yu Shamping took Yi Mo and the Golden Core State cultivator to gather at the Green Pill Sect ground. The leader of the Green Pill Sect was a body condensation state middle stage cultivator. The cultivator scanned Yi Mo and the Golden Core State cultivators. Seeing that their qi was very ordinary, there was a sliver of disappointment in his eyes, but he still nodded to Gu Lian. You guys can go back. These two will come with us to the Truthfall Palace. Yes, Yang Qianbei, Wan Bei will leave now. Gu Lian and Yu Shamping didn't even dare to talk much. Yi Mo glanced around casually, but found there were 16 people from the sect going to Truthfall Palace. This meant that 8-star and 9-star sects would have even more. Looking around, Yi Mo saw someone familiar. It was that Qiu Shui from the airplane, but she was now Golden Core State Peak Stage. She had reached Golden Core State Peak Stage in such a short time. It was probably due to the blue wind pill he gave her. However, now all the cultivators from the Green Pill Sect were gathered in front of Qiu Shui. When the group came to Truthfall Square, many sects were already there. Even though this square was huge, it still seemed noisy. There was a huge ship parked at the square. This was probably the ship taking them to the Truthfall Palace. He lowered his power to nascent soul state level 1 and even seemed a little unstable. Yi Mo's caution was correct. Soon, he felt a few spirit senses scan over his body. He even suspected that one of them belonged to Yu Shamping. As more people boarded the ship, the people in the square grew less. Yi Mo and Gu Wei were at the end of the Green Pill Sect's line. Although the Green Pill Sect gave 2 spots to them and had 2 extra rooms, they didn't give the rooms to Yi Mo and Gu Wei. 2 hollow spirit state cultivators from their sect came instead. Yi Mo and Gu Wei couldn't even stay in Green Pill Sect's place. They could only live with people from the Solo Cultivator Alliance. There were very few Solo cultivators going to the Truthfall Palace. Many of them were recommended by the Solo Cultivator Alliance. However, the Solo Cultivator Alliance's status was far weaker here than in North Far State. This was because North Far State had Ling Zhongtian. But Yi Mo didn't mind, he didn't want to be found. When he came to the solo cultivator rooms, he found that there were almost 200 solo cultivators, and they all stayed in this big hall. Everyone just had an area, not even their own room. For a cultivator, a private room was the most important, yet so many were squeezed here together. Chapter 1042. The Female Cultivator Who Wants to Make a Deal with Yi Mo. Chapter 1042. The Female Cultivator Who Wants to Make a Deal with Yi Mo. Yi Mo found a place to sit and started to close his eyes in meditation while hiding his qi. It was after about 15 minutes that Yi Mo felt the ship shake. He scanned his spirit sense out, but found that the ship had already gone into the sky and was getting faster and faster. Almost immediately, Truth Fall City disappeared from his spirit sense. Many of the solo cultivators on the ship knew each other and started chatting with their friends. Some people started dealing pills and materials. There was hardly anyone cultivating here, as this noisy place wasn't suited for it. The Golden Core State cultivator who came with Yi Mo sat in a corner and didn't say anything. Through their discussions, Yi Mo knew that the ship would take 6 days to reach Truth Fall Palace. Yi Mo could tell by the speed of this ship that it was much faster than his flying ship. This speed was at least that of an extreme grade cultivation artifact, or even beyond a cultivation artifact. The first day hadn't even passed, and many cultivators started to go to the deck together. Because there were many genius cultivators this time, a lot of people wanted to go meet some geniuses, but more people wanted to see the market on the deck. Yi Mo didn't have the mood to go up. He didn't want to show his face in front of anyone, much less go shopping with all those genius sect members. However, although a lot of cultivators went to the deck, there were still a lot of cultivators in the hall. There were very few nascent soul state cultivators amongst solo cultivators. After all, most talented ones were taken by the big sections. There were more than 10 nascent soul state level 1 or level 2, and Yi Mo was the only nascent soul state level 3. Yi Mo found that he was the most powerful in this hall. Yi Mo suppressed his power to nascent soul state level 1 and showed it to be unstable, but even so, he still seemed to stand out from the crowd. He immediately wanted to show his power at Golden Core State Peak Stage. This was because Golden Core State Peak Stage cultivators made up the biggest group here, even more than Golden Core State Level 9. But Yi Mo didn't do this since there were already a few people who knew he was nascent Soul State Level 1. The cultivators who went to the market came back, and the hall became noisy again. Meanwhile, Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense out and saw Winsai. She was walking towards him. Yi Mo felt strange. When he first saw her, she acted like she was the most noble person in the world. People like her usually lived in the luxury rooms. How could she come to the solo cultivator's hall? Yi Mo didn't believe she would come look for him. Firstly, he had never revealed his qi. Secondly, she wouldn't know he was here. There was a handsome youth next to Winsai. He was already nascent soul state level 5 and walked together with Winsai side by side. The two seemed a matching pair. Regardless, Yi Mo still casually wiped his face and changed stealth sand to 9 transformations. Although not even cauldron filling state cultivators could see through stealth sand, it didn't change the appearance as completely as 9 transformations. Sai, don't worry. If we find that guy, I will make you happy, that male cultivator said. Yi Mo heard this and sneered. It seemed he had guessed wrongly. This woman really might be here looking for him, and even brought someone to help her. It was probably due to him slapping her face with 10 million spirit stones and her not wanting to let it go. Martial brother Yuan. Martial sister Win. As soon as the two came to the solo cultivator hall, many solo cultivators came up to greet them, but they just nodded casually and started scanning the hall carefully with spirit stones. Yi Mo knew that this martial brother Yuan was Yuan Guanan. He was indeed very handsome, but he thought, no matter how handsome you are, I don't mind you staying with Winsai. But if you try to hit on Susu, then don't blame me. When Tsai scanned her spirit sense in here again and again, she didn't even find a nascent soul state level 3, much less that cultivator who slapped her face. Not here. Yuan Guanan saw When Tsai have a disappointed look. When Tsai nodded. When Tsai continued, if a solo cultivator can reach nascent soul state level 3, he would clearly be over 100 years old. How can he be here? That's true, when Tsai agreed. Yi Mo's spirit sense was powerful, and the two didn't hide their conversation. So Yi Mo heard this clearly. After the two left, Yi Mo immediately took off 9 transformations. As soon as he did, a rather fat cultivator suddenly came up to Yi Mo and said, Qianbei, do you have some problem with Wen Tsai? This voice was coarse, but Yi Mo could tell it belonged to a female cultivator. Yi Mo heard this and was shaken. His first reaction was to kill this cultivator. Who are you? Yi Mo calmed down quickly and put up a sound restriction. He knew that if he dared to kill someone here, he would die a horrible death. He stared at this female cultivator, waiting for her reply. She was very fat and her face was distorted. There were red marks, and it looked very ugly. She was the ugliest woman Yi Mo had ever seen. Her power wasn't high, only golden core state level 7. The female cultivator shook her head and said, It's not important who I am. I just want to make a deal with you. If you're willing, I'll continue. If you're not, then I won't say it. But Qianbei, don't worry, regardless of whether you're willing or not, I won't tell that you're the person Wen Tsai is looking for. She explained, the reason I know you're the person Wen Tsai is looking for, because when they came in, you changed your mask magic artifact. I was watching you constantly. I've been hiding myself as well. So I saw what you were doing immediately. Yi Mo couldn't hear any lies from her words. So he frowned and said, Tell me about your deal. If I can do it, then I will. If not, then sorry. The female cultivator nodded and thought for a brief moment before saying, I want to ask you to help me kill someone. This person will be going to the Truth Fall Palace for sure. He represents the 6-star sect, Earth Demon Sect. Yi Mo sneered and didn't reply. He had heard of the Earth Demon Sect. He killed 2 from there at the Herb Plain. One was called Gui Cheng and one Chai Kong. That Gui Cheng's demonic ray soul-locking net was indeed powerful. Yi Mo heard Gua Qifan say that it wasn't perfected or else it would be much stronger. The female cultivator continued to say he's called Fu Rong. Fu Rong? Yi Mo was shaken and almost asked about it. The female cultivator noticed Yi Mo's sudden change in emotions. She continued, That demon tricked away my Chao Huan pill and destroyed my face. That isn't all. He and his father worked together to trick someone's daughter away and killed the father. He's evil. He's an animal. Yi Mo heard this, and his face went cold. He stared at this female cultivator and said, I don't think you're any good either. How did you get your Chao Huan pill? You probably got it through taking a few lives. Yi Mo thought of Fu Rong's story about one pill killing 2. That was a secret that Fu Rong knew because he was probably there. This female cultivator said this too, probably because she was one of the women there. But Yi Mo knew that if it was Fu Rong, then he wouldn't be going to the Truth Fall Palace for sure, since he knew Fu Rong was probably over 200 years old. Yi Mo didn't say this, though. He wanted to know what this female cultivator wanted. Chapter 1043. Bitter Bamboo's Whereabouts. Chapter 1043. Bitter Bamboo's whereabouts. Hearing Yi Mo's words, the woman's calm face turned pale. After a long while, the female cultivator calmed down and said, That's right, I'm also an evil woman. The thing I regret the most in my life was tricking Big Brother Wu for Fu Rong, this animal, killing him and his friend in such a manner. I was very dumb. I actually believed Fu Rong, that bastard. Other than Fu Rong and I, no one else knows about it. You know, probably because Fu Rong told you. Then she stared at Emo and said, "If you're his friend, then pretend I said nothing." Emo smiled. "I know this person, but I'm not his friend." When he spoke of this, I wasn't the only one there. The female cultivator continued. "When he tricked away the Chow Huan pill, he wanted to kill me, but due to an accident, I managed to survive. However, I lost my face. I've been following him since then, wanting to kill him, but he's been very careful. Although I've used all my means on stealth, I still didn't get a chance until one day." The female cultivator continued with hateful eyes. "That day, he went with another woman to the deep sea in Heartless Sea. I knew I couldn't kill him, but I still couldn't resist following him, wanting to find a chance. What I didn't expect was that animal said something to the woman, and she seemed to have understood something. She cursed at him while the animal suddenly attacked her. He heavily wounded her. That woman ran into the Heartless Sea, and I saved her." Emo nodded. "Is that woman called Yun Yang Yan?" "How do you know?" The female cultivator stared at Emo with a face full of shock. Fu Rong definitely wouldn't tell anyone this. How could he know? But she quickly nodded. "Yes, she's Yun Yang Yan. I tried to save her, but she didn't survive. She was too heavily injured. She gave me her father's heritage before she died." Hearing this, Emo's eyes brightened. Yu Baisheng definitely left behind the bitter bamboo. Did this female cultivator want to do the deal with him using the bitter bamboo? This was impossible, right? That was so precious. Seeing Emo's eyes brighten up, the female cultivator sighed. The person she found probably wasn't any good. His face brightened up as soon as he heard about heritage. But she had no choice now. Thinking about this, she said, "You probably know who her father is. It's Yu Baixing Qianbei. If you can kill Fu Rong, I will give all of his things to you. There are not only tens of millions of top-grade spirit stones, but also a few cultivation artifacts. There's even a top-grade cultivation artifact. The most precious thing is there is a hollow meridian pill." Emo immediately became disappointed. The hollow meridian pill was precious, but Emo was sure he could get the spirit herbs for it and concoct it himself. What he cared about the most was the bitter bamboo. Why didn't she mention it? The female cultivator looked at Emo in shock and asked, "Is it not precious?" Then she said, "That's right, the most precious is a hollow meridian pill. Is there anything else?" Emo asked and satisfied. The female cultivator looked at Emo strangely. A nascent soul state cultivator who didn't care about the hollow meridian pill. This was too strange. But she still said, she did say that she has a family treasure. She didn't tell me the name, but she said if I can meet the person who can get her revenge, then tell that person where the treasure is. She just told me it was no less valuable than the hollow meridian pill. Okay, I agree, I'll kill Fu Rong. After I take his head, you will tell me where that thing is. Emo was sure that it was the bitter bamboo. The hollow meridian pill was nothing compared to the bitter bamboo. 10,000 hollow meridian pills couldn't compare with the bitter bamboo. It was an ancient spirit item. Plus, Emo was going to go after Fu Rong anyways. The female cultivator didn't expect Emo to be this straightforward. Emo knew she was shocked and smiled. "I just want the location of that last item. As for the heritage of Yu Baixing Qianbei, I don't need it, including the hollow meridian pill." "You don't want the hollow meridian pill?" The female cultivator looked at Emo in shock. She couldn't understand how a hollow meridian pill was unattractive to a nascent soul state cultivator. Emo nodded. "That's right. I don't need the hollow meridian pill. Wait for me. After I kill Fu Rong at the Truthfall Palace, I will come ask you." This female cultivator fell into a long silence before making sure Emo was saying the truth. Then she sighed. "I thought wrongly of you before. You're a real, sincere person." The woman took out a map and gave it to Yemo. The thing is in the Truthfall Palace. This is the map. Niang Yen said that although the Yu family's ancestor got it, they weren't able to keep it alive, so Yu Baixing Qianbei kept this in the Truthfall Palace. Originally, I should only have shown you this after you killed Fu Rong. But if I do that, it would mean you would have to wait another 30 years after killing Fu Rong. Yi Mo was very surprised. If the female cultivator didn't show him the map, then he wouldn't be able to get the bitter bamboo. The Truthfall Palace only opened every 30 years. What if someone else found the bitter bamboo and took it? Then that would mean he took the map, but it wouldn't do anything for him. Seeing Yi Mo take the map, the female cultivator said, I actually don't have a right to go in the Truthfall Palace. I came here to find someone to kill that animal. Since Qianbei took the map, I hope you don't go back on your words. If you can come out, I will be waiting for you inside Truthfall City Square. Yi Mo smiled and said, Do you think I'm someone to go back on my words? Don't worry, even without this deal, I was going to kill Fu Rong. But there's one question I need to ask you. According to what I know, Fu Rong doesn't have the right to go in the Truthfall Palace either, right? I hope you can explain this. Seeing Yi Mo stare at her, the female cultivator grit her teeth and said, It's because he and his father have the same name. The two used all the means they had to get the heritage. After Fu Rong's father died, he inherited everything, including his name. When Niang Yen found out it was already too late. Yi Mo was getting goosebumps from hearing this. Yu Baisheng was tricked by Fu Rong 150 years ago, and then his daughter was tricked by the son. The female cultivator got up and saluted to Yi Mo before turning to leave. Wait. Yi Mo gave a jade bottle to her and said, This is what you need the most. The female cultivator took the bottle and opened it before calling out in shock, Chao Huan pill? Special grade, Chao Huan pill? She used all sorts of calculations and hurt the man she loved as well as his best friend before getting a middle grade Chao Huan pill. But today, just because of a few words, she got a special grade Chao Huan pill. Such was life. No wonder this person didn't care about the Hollow Meridian pill. He was too wealthy. She had never heard of someone giving out the Chao Huan pill so casually. It seemed it was better to be a good person. She gave him some convenience, and she immediately got the biggest repayment of her life. Little did she know that the bitter bamboo's enticement for Yi Mo was greater than anything. Perhaps due to this bitter bamboo, his life would be greatly different. Yi Mo also felt that this woman had changed a lot. She harmed two friends for a Chao Huan pill before, but now she didn't even hide the Hollow Meridian pill. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.